Someone, as a mafia reference commonly understood to mean take 8 miles out of town and put 6 feet underground. In a new post on Instagram, Comey said that he saw the shells and assumed that they were a political message. He said, quote, "I didn't realize that some folk associated those numbers with violence." Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem also reacted to the post on X, calling out Comey, quote, "Disgraced former FBI Director James Comey just called for the assassination of POTUS Trump. DHS and Secret Service is investigating this threat and will respond appropriately." Bernie Bennett reporting.
Stock futures are higher this morning. News and analysis at townhall.com. More problems with the Federal Aviation Administration.
The FAA's hotline between the Department of Defense and air traffic controllers at Reagan Washington National Airport has not worked for more than 3 years. The agency's deputy chief operating officer confirmed that information during a Senate hearing Wednesday on the FAA's modernization efforts. The official told the lawmakers the FAA was considering a move to ban the Army from flying near the airport's airspace after an incident in May when air traffic controllers diverted 2 planes to prevent them from crashing into a military helicopter. Tasha Stevens reporting.
Pope Leo XIV has affirmed core Catholic teaching on marriage and the unborn in his first meeting with the ambassadors accredited to the Holy See. He said today the family is founded on the stable union between a man and a woman, and that the unborn and elderly enjoy dignity as God's creatures. More at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The tabloid said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. We made it. Happy Friday, everybody.
They say it's the weekend. It's my weekend too, yeah.
See, weekend is well, not officially upon us, but
almost there.
Here. Hours away.
My daughter reminded me this morning in the car. It's pajama day at her school, so she was all excited and comfy, and she goes, "Just 6 more days."
I'll say they're rolling into their final week next week here. So, my wife also.
This is that
6 more days.
This is that time that time of year where, I mean, and I know that you're everybody's limping to the finish line, but for teachers, I mean, it's got to just be like these are the days that they live for. Because back like when we were kids, these are the days that you'd hear the squeak, 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 squeak of the TV cart coming down the hallway because you got to watch like Land Before Time or Secret of Nim or something like that.
Well, I will, from a husband of a second grade teacher.
Especially elementary educators too.
For I'm not gonna say how many years, but she's been doing it a while. The thing that you think that way is yes, but you don't think of the other aspects.
Okay.
The kids, by and large, are behavior problems. The kids are crazy. They're running around. So it's constant wrangling.
Sure.
So yes, and to be honest, because it's the end of the year and there's less lesson, like at least during the regular day, they got lesson plans that are like, pretty tight. And they're like, okay, so we got this to this. We're going from this to this to this. Where here, it's less of that.
Right.
It's actually probably harder because basically there's less of a, all right, we got to occupy the kids here for this time, but we're not working on this anymore because it's really
the structure is loosened, and that messes with kids' routines.
Exactly, and maybe now high school they're dealing with finals and stuff.
And that's the juxtaposition that I got when we were talking to Jocelyn before the show.
Yeah,
because pull back the curtain, her daughter's waiting to find out if she's going to graduate with honors this year. And so, at the high school and even middle school level, there's not as much, play at the end of the year.
They're
it's all business. But for elementary school and even like early middle, it's kind of nice. You're like, we're going to go to
from the kid's perspective. Teachers not as what you think.
I'll put it this way. Yesterday, my son was raving about how they got to see a cow and watch a cow get milked and learn about all the different things that a cow, is parts of a cow that go to like meat and milk and egg, butter, all that. I didn't mean eggs.
We got them
cow eggs.
Them cow eggs.
Cow eggs. But that was the whole thing, is they brought in the dairy council and towards the end of the end, yes, I know that with teachers it's the loosened structure and stuff.
Sure.
But there has to be a little bit of fun with the annual.
Sure.
Let's take a walk to Peter Piper Pizza and learn how the pizza gets made.
Yeah, I mean, there's a different thing is a thing, but yes, the logistics do tend to, depend. Think about it this way in your own family. Say you have several kids in your family and they're younger, and then you're like, I'm not taking them to the grocery store because they're just going to be grabbing everything and whatever. Take that times 25. That's kind of what one of these trips are like.
Right. And everybody's antsy. I get it. I get it. It's when you can see the finish line, like when you're within sight of it.
Yeah.
That's the worst part of the race, because you're like, I'm almost done. Now everything's gonna start to hurt because I'm almost done. So it's all kind of like.
Now, granted, teachers are generally happy because they too are like 6 more days. Just that they're doing the same mantra that the kids are.
They're going through in their head. They're like, okay, I got to figure out which liquor bottles in the teacher's lounge are mine.
I think that's only for sitcom television.
That's only for 4th grade.
At least nowadays. Back when we were kids, you could see the smoke billowing out of the teacher's lounge.
They'd open the door. It looked like a Snoop Dogg scene. Right? That was actually one of my favorite jokes from The Simpsons is, take those liquor bottles to the teacher's lounge. You can have what's left at the end of the day.
Right. That's about right. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, probably not.
I could be wrong. But I don't think it's that.
Not on the elementary level, at least.
All right, so let me give you the rundown for baseball, softball playoffs if you missed it all yesterday. So, all right. Well,
let me take my glasses off so I can read.
Get in here and get all right. I need to read. Goddard baseball. They won yesterday.
Congratulations,
which means they advance to the semifinals here today.
Right.
That game will take place at 12:30 today, and it's the number 1 seed, the Artesia Bulldogs, taking on the 12 seed Goddard Rockets.
Nice.
Now, we're doing a thing. Please don't be upset, but this is the way we can bring you all the
everything.
Action. So,
right.
For that game, we are only going to have the Artesia perspective.
Right.
Joby's going to call that game for us. You can hear it on the radio on our sister station, 990 AM, which most of you probably can't pick up here because it more covers Artesia. However, there will be live streaming audio of the Goddard Artesia game at ksvptv.com.
Right.
In the Bulldog channel. The reason we're doing it that way, because at 1 o'clock today, Gateway Christian is in the championship game for the 1A state playoffs. They defeated. They got the win yesterday over the number 3 seed Logan, 12-2. That championship game will take place at 1 today, where they're taking on the 1 seed Magdalena. Gateway Christian's the 2 seed, Magdalena the 1 seed.
Ooh,
that championship game
is
going to be at 1 o'clock today. Henry Villarreal will be calling that game for us. We will have that game for you right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM and streaming video in the I think it'll be in the mornings. Streaming audio, I'm sorry.
Right.
But I think it's going to be in the mornings with Mike Winter's channel because we don't have one set up for Gateway.
Okay.
That's where yesterday's game was.
Gotcha.
So you'll go there and find it. So that'll be at 1 o'clock today. Now, if that's a championship game, win or lose, they're done today.
That's the last game for them. Yeah.
Then New Mexico Military Institute, they advanced last night. They are the 1 seed in the 3A state playoffs.
Okay.
They advanced last night, defeating Sandia Prep 9-0.
Wow.
So they are now
swept.
Yeah, they took care of business. It was a 1-9 seed. So
Sure.
it was to be honest, they didn't open up till like 4th, 5th innings. It was a 1-run game for the first 3 or 4 innings of that game, and then it kind of opened up later in the game. But anyway, NMMI will be playing semifinal matchup today at 3:30 p.m. and they're going to be taking on the number 5 seed West Las Vegas. We will carry that game right at the conclusion of the Gateway Christian Championship game.
Right.
Where Henry will literally book it, so we're probably going to have a delay and we might miss a bit of an innings. I'm pretty sure Jeff Gunn's going to be around to help call that game with Henry at 3:30-ish today whenever we get that game. And so that's what we got today. We're going to have 2 ball games for you right here on 106.5. The Gateway Christian Championship game at 1 p.m., and then right after that, the NMMI semifinal matchup against West Las Vegas.
Right.
If you want to hear the Goddard-Artesia game, for folks here, go to ksvptv.com and click the Artesia Bulldogs channel. I apologize. It's going to be a Joby perspective, so it'll be slightly leaning Artesia. But this is the only way we can do this so we can bring you the Gateway Christian Championship game.
Here's the proper way to listen to that game.
Yeah.
Anytime Joby or the crowd gets excited, that's bad. Anytime Joby or the crowd gets upset, that's good. There you go.
That's the formula.
Simple as that.
By the way, also want to send a shout out and a good luck to the Dexter Lady Demons softball team. They are taking place in their championship game against the 1 seed. Against Silver. They're not, and that game will take place at noon today. Unfortunately, Cobre. Softball's playing Silver, Artesia. They're playing Cobre today in the championship game there. It's softball, and last night or yesterday, Dexter defeated Cobre. So what that means is the championship game at 12 today. If Dexter wins game 1, they're the champs. If Cobre wins, then they'll have to play another game to determine the champion.
Or game 3.
But anyway, that game will take place at 12:30. At 12 today.
Gotcha.
We will not have that on the radio because we'll be carrying other stuff. But we did want to send a shout out.
Oh, for sure.
That not all of the schools on the radio are the ones that are making championship appearances at this moment. So
go Demons!
Shout out to the Lady Demons and their softball run here. So that's it for softball. And then of course, if NIMI wins today, they're going to play for their state championship in 3 at 12:30 tomorrow.
Okay.
We will carry that for you too if they win today. So that'll be now. If Goddard wins, defeating Artesia today, then they will play for a state championship at 3:30 tomorrow.
Gotcha.
If that happens, we will carry that for you right here on 106.5. That one we will have right because put it this way, it's Thunderdome over there. 2 man enter, 1 man leave. So leaves. Either Artesia or Goddard's going to a championship.
Crazy.
Game,
Tina Turner's out there singing.
Pandemonium. We just see that little guy that lives on the other guy's shoulder. It's Thunderdome, people. But so that's going to be so if Goddard advances, we will have that championship game for you. If NMMI advances, we'll have that game for you tomorrow as well here on the radio. So, but today at 1, Gateway Christian Championship game. Right after that, NMMI semifinal matchup against West Las Vegas. That's the plan for today.
There you go.
Let me give you the rundown of the show.
And with that,
we're going to replay an interview. We had Carrie Moore with the Chaves County Health Council join us, I believe it was on Monday, and talked about several things. So we'll play that interview for you here in a bit. Bill Williams, Chaves County Manager, scheduled to join us in the 9 o'clock hour for his monthly visit.
8 o'clock?
What did I say?
9 o'clock.
8 o'clock hour.
There you go.
Sorry, I worked a 15-hour day yesterday.
Yeah, no, we completely understand.
Pardon me if I'm a little tired.
Go ahead.
So Bill Williams, Chaves County Manager, will join us in the 8 o'clock hour to give us the skinny from County Commission meeting and other things happening around the county. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, which we will have, unfortunately, I was kind of hoping softball was going to get the win and we're going to be doing a 9 o'clock today, but they fell to St. Pius. So we have a 9 o'clock hour today. We're going to fill that. Dan Jennings, 100% Chaves County, joined us yesterday talking about the symposium, the opioid settlement symposium that they're having. That's going to be coming up May 28th, but the registration deadline is May 17th, which is this weekend. So we want to put that on people's radar here.
Yes, sir.
And then we'll do all of your newses and not newses and all that other stuff.
I was just chuckling because I was raised, with a pretty healthy, guilty conscience. And knowing that Mike had such a long day yesterday, I kind of left with a bit of guilt. And I feel like my karma demon immediately bit me because now let me back up and say I watch people professionally get thrown down staircases the entire way, and then they just get up and do a match the next night. I stumbled down 3 steps. I accidentally stepped on my son's foot on the way down the staircase leaving the building yesterday, and I slid down 3 steps, bumped my elbow, and that is all I can think about now. That's like the most pain I've ever been in my whole life. It's like, don't touch it.
When you start getting in the 4s and certainly in the 5s and up, you don't recover from falls and pains as much.
Yeah.
I still remember I was in my 40s, and I must have slept on my shoulder wrong. I slept on it wrong.
Right.
That thing hurt for 2 months.
Uh-huh.
I even went to the doctor to say, hey, this is not normal. He goes, nope, you're getting old, bud.
Yeah.
That's the deal. And then, of course, he had me do stretches. And then, bring the pills, Bob. No, come on. I'm just kidding. But yeah, but for 2 months, that's when I realized I'm getting to be an old man now. I hurt myself sleeping, and it hurt for 2 months.
Yeah. I used to fall for fun.
Yeah. I literally did the dumbest things, and I walked that off, but now I sleep wrong and I get
Yeah, exactly. I'm suffering sleep-related injuries? What happened?
Kind of reminds me of the Ron White. Your body's kicking back, broth.
You're a manly man.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, it is 7:20. Let's get you up to date on the weather. Real quick, though, they put an ad in a place I need it. This is the thing. They just tuck ads in places like Easter eggs. So let's do this. Let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Hot and windy this weekend, sunshine, and we're going up to about 90 today, a little bit breezy. Overnight, some clouds, upper 50s, and then we have a low pressure system passing to our north on Saturday. Mix of sun and clouds, no rain expected. We'll stay at about 90, wind gusting at about 35 miles an hour. More gusty wind coming up on Sunday, sunshine and 90. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 58 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity's at 24%. Winds are calm at the moment. Today, expect highs near 90. 89 officially under high with sunny skies. Winds will be out of the southeast today, 5 to 10 miles per hour. All of that sounds just delightful. Tonight, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 59 degrees, southeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday, we're going to get a little breezy. Mostly cloudy early, gradually becoming sunny, high of 90 tomorrow. Winds will be breezy out of the southwest, 5 to 15 early, 15 to 25 for Saturday afternoon. Saturday night, partly cloudy, overnight low of 55. Winds will remain breezy out of the southwest, 15 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. Winds will drop down 5 to 15 after midnight tomorrow night. Sunday, mostly sunny, breezy once again with highs around 91 degrees. Southwest winds 5 to 15 early, increasing 15 to 20, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour by Sunday afternoon. Sunday night, mostly clear and breezy, 55 for an overnight low. And then upper 80s for Monday and breezy. Tuesday, mid-80s. Wednesday, back to the upper 80s, and then low 90s by Thursday of next week. All right, 7:22. We're going to take a 4.5-minute break. They're all big breaks because we're playing baseball a lot. So we'll do this, and then on the other side, we'll play our interview with Carrie Moore from the Chaves County Health Council. Don't go away.
At Richland Motors, it's never been easier to sell or trade your current car, truck, or SUV for a newer model to hit the road in. Even if you don't purchase from Richland, they want to buy your vehicle for top dollar. But if you do buy from Richland, don't forget, they're the home of the powertrain warranty for life. That's a whole lot of confidence for you. See Richland for details. 2nd and Sycamore and 1309 Southeast Main.
Injury, surgery, or illness can set you back, but you don't have to recover alone. At Artesia General Hospital, our rehabilitation services team provides physical, occupational, and speech therapy to help you regain strength, mobility, and confidence. Take the next step toward recovery. Call 575-736-8174 today to schedule an appointment and get back to living life to the fullest.
For the first time ever, Gus Macker is coming to Portales, June 21st and 22nd at the ENMU Steve Loy Family Foundation Stadium. This 3-on-3 basketball tournament is open to all skill levels, from 8 and under to an over 35 division, plus a top men's division for more experienced players over the age of 18. Register your team at Macker.com for just $160 per team of up to 4 players. Deadline to sign up is May 30th. More info, contact Jody Diaz at 575-356-8541. Gus Macker, Portales, June 21st and 22nd at the ENMU Steve Loy Family Foundation Stadium. Paid for in part by the City of Portales Lodgers Tax.
Are you ready to succeed? The School of Arts and Sciences at ENMU Roswell covers a broad curriculum. The certificates and degrees offered within these programs will prepare students to realize personal, professional, and occupational objectives, from ag science and agricultural technology to behavioral science, biology, bookkeeping and accounting, business administration, criminal justice, education, and mathematics. ENMU Roswell can set you up for success. Register now on campus or online at roswell.enmu.edu. Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell. Success starts here. The ultimate Wi-Fi experience is now available to you thanks to Smart Home Wi-Fi with Plateau. Get fiber to home technology 100 times faster than average household internet speed. Plateau has multiple plans and options to fit your family. With Fast, get true 100 megs per second download and upload speed. With Faster, get true 500 megs of download and upload speeds. And with Fastest, you get 1 gig. Learn more at plateautel.com. Get the speed you need with Plateau. Tried, true, trusted.
You received a social media message or text from an unknown number. They started a conversation with you, and over time, they earn your trust. Then, they encourage you to invest online or buy cryptocurrency. And when you do, they disappear, along with your money. But it can be avoided. The Securities Division of New Mexico's Regulation and Licensing Department can help. Learn to spot the red flags of investment scams at rld.nm.gov/red flags or call 505-476-4580.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin and Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin and Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin and Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
After Moses was given the Ten Commandments, he came down and shared the words of the Lord with the people. The Lord had chosen the Israelites out of all the creation on earth to be his people, his treasured possession. Preaching to the Christians of the first century, Peter carries this thought into the time after Christ, saying this: "You are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession. Once you were not a people, but now you are the people of God." He calls and has chosen all to be his people. He's just waiting for us to accept his call. No matter where you find yourself, no matter your past, you are chosen to belong to God. As Paul told the Romans, "I'm convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all of creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord." So join us as we learn how to accept his loving call.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. 1 in 3 snake bite victims is drunk. 1 in 5 is tattooed. Hold my beer and check this out. Here's Mike Winters.
Now officially. And good morning. It is 23 minutes after 9 o'clock, and now officially joining us in studio this morning, Carrie Moore with the Chavez County Health Council. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I am fantastic.
And well,
I had cookies this morning.
Got the sugar coursing to the vein.
Yep,
You're good to go.
Good.
So, very good. What? The big thing that we, for folks that don't know, the Chavez County Health Council, and I say this every time, they're one of the big things that people know right now every day is they are the ones that they are the, when you call 211, if you need information about medical services or flood services right now or any of that stuff, when you call 211, you're going to get the Chavez County Health Council. They're the purveyors of that 211.
So in the state, all 211s are operated by the United Way.
Gotcha.
Chaves County is the only one that is different. So when you call 211, you're getting the health council.
Gotcha.
United Way in Chaves County doesn't do individual assessments, I guess. They work within the nonprofit community.
Gotcha.
And then they have us deal with the public on that. So we are getting a lot of people who are calling wanting United Way, but that's not where your connection is. It is through the health council with the 211.
Very good. So if you're in Eddy or Lee and you use their 211, you're probably talking to United Way folks.
To United Way, yep. Everywhere else in the state.
And yes, it originally is kind of was if you're new to town looking for a doctor or you need help with WIC or those kind of things, that's there. But since the flooding, it has also kind of adapted to anything kind of FEMA at this point or anything flood related. Getting resources, offering resources. The Health Council has been the conduit here in Chaves County for all that.
Right. And to an extent, the fire in Ruidoso as well, because we do still have some people in Roswell from Ruidoso. They've just kind of stayed here because there was no place to go back.
And then they got hit with flooding after fires.
Right.
They've seen it all. But also, the other things that folks would know the Health Council for is the other big thing is their annual health expo that they have usually right around back to school time there in August. And it's kind of a two serves where, yes, we do all the offering health services and different things, but it's also serves as helping families kind of get their kids ready for school. And they, thanks to the donations of the various booths at the fair,
right,
or at the expo that we give away school supplies and backpacks and all that.
Right. Yeah. So we set it up so that way we give out backpacks to all the kids in Chaves County. So it's not just the Roswell schools. It is anybody inside Chaves County. And then when we have leftovers at the end, we will take them down to the valley. And that way we make sure that kids in Dexter, Hagerman, and Lake Arthur all have access to backpacks if they weren't able to make it up to Roswell for the Health Expo. This year we have lucked out. We've got the Department of Health mobile unit. So they're going to do vaccines.
Okay.
Back to school vaccines. They're at the event. So that way the kids can get those before they go in. They're also going to bring in their software stuff so that they can do birth certificates.
Okay.
So it's trying to make sure that we can get all the kids ready to go back to school because they will go to school that following week.
So all their ducks in a row, shot records, birth certificates, whatever they're needing to go to school.
They can access it right there.
Yeah, and then on top of that, if they need school supplies, they need stuff, they're going to be doing the giveaves and all that stuff.
Right. And it's not just about the kids, so it's the full community. Mm-hmm. So, it's pre-birth.
Yeah.
Is that
pre-birth?
Pre-birth, is that the right word?
Prenatal? Yeah,
I like pre-birth.
Pre-birth sounds cooler though. Yeah.
Pre-birth to afterbirth.
I need some post-birth health care. So just health care.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
No, post-death health care is a different area we haven't breached yet.
Right, but we're trying to get some of the funeral homes to come in because they need to be able to do an assessment so you can pre-plan your funeral expenses.
Save your family a lot of headache and time because when that time comes, there's enough going on usually. Now, if all those arrangements are made, that's one less thing. So.
Yeah, I went and I found me a planning book on it. It was like, sorry, I'm dead now. It's your mess.
Right.
But that's the clean version of it.
Sure.
And I'm like, this is kind of fun. We should really do something like this and get it more official.
Yeah.
And so, working on that. Some financial planning stuff. The banks need to be part of this because finances, making sure that you have a healthy cash flow in your house.
Right.
Is health related because if you're stressed out because you can't manage your bills, that affects everything.
Well, when the breadwinner dies, sometimes families are left in the lurch, and without a plan, that's where it gets bad, and that's how they're left in the lurch. And so yeah, it's and that's what you said last time we talked. You said this is kind of an overall health, so things that you're not necessarily designate as a healthcare related thing. Is when we talk about it's even like you said, retirement planning, things that create mental health stresses, things that human beings have trouble navigating without running into hurdles and obstacles and stress. These are available at the Health Expo to help you navigate it. So if you're thinking, I do need to plan for retirement. I do need to, what's going to happen if I'm not here anymore? There's folks there that can. So that's health too. It's not okay. We're not doing Now, and the stuff you think of, you want your glucose screenings and all the blood, donating blood, and blood pressure checks, all that stuff will be there.
Well, we're hoping. With it being at the mall this year, things are going to be a little different.
Right,
we're not quite sure how things are going to flow through. So, yeah, we'll see what happens as we're doing this. We're still taking, so right now we're in the early bird booth registration piece.
Okay.
And that means that if you are a business, nonprofit, whatever, if you are promoting health and wellness, the booth is only $25.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's for 10 to 2. So for a half day to reach about 1,000 people, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
After the 30th, then it'll jump up to $50 a booth. So you really kind of want to get in there and lock it in now.
Yeah. Save you some money.
Yep. I don't know how many spaces I'll have because, again, whole new venue. And
yeah, this is new. Yeah, for folks that don't know, the tradition is it's always at the Convention and Civic Center. As we all know, that's not available right now.
Right.
So the Roswell Mall is kind enough to be the host for this year's event, but it creates different logistics and things. And but at the same time, it also creates new opportunities and new cool things that maybe you didn't get to experience at previous health expos that will be available at this one. So it's a mixed bag. Like it's a new location. It's good and bad, just like everything else when something's new. You know?
Right. Yep. So we've got that going on, and then this week is kind of a busy week for us. So this week it's the second Wednesday of the month. So that's our monthly health council meeting.
Which, if you're interested in becoming more involved, come on to the meeting. They'd love to have you.
Well, and this one we're going to do our community health improvement plan. So this is the way it works. This is how the health council does. There's 50,000 different organizations that take community assessments to find out what everybody in the state needs. And then they break it down by where we're at. And then we create these community health improvement plans. And that's what we focus on how to help make Chaves County better.
Gotcha.
and the areas that we need to focus in. So this will be kind of like ending up our last plan and seeing where we're at, what we need to address and move on. And then so that will happen on Wednesday during our health council meeting. And then on Thursday, the state is doing a community conversation, which is around the same exact thing.
Gotcha.
So, but this is figuring out from 2026 to 2028.
Okay.
And so they're looking for those that are currently involved in healthcare or the nonprofits or anybody who in the community who wants to help direct and guide how these plans are put together needs to be part of these conversations. This one is going to be a hybrid meeting. So everywhere else in the state, it's all done via Zoom. But because we have access to a fairly large meeting room, we're going to head and do it as a hybrid.
Okay.
So that's going to be Thursday from 10 to 2 at 500 North Main. Or for more information, again, you can get with 211, and we can get you the stuff on that one. And so the state comes up with some weird names. So their assessment or their health planning thing is called CHIP, Community Health Improvement Plan, CHIP. And
which
so
nobody, when they hear CHIP, thinks that.
Exactly. And then their collaborative group is called SALSA. And I can't tell you what all it stands for, but literally it's all chips and salsa.
At least that's happier.
Yeah. So for this hybrid meeting that we're doing on Thursday, I said, you know what? Well, I'll just bring you some chips and salsa.
There we
So,
go.
we're just going to have that. And then there's still time right now to register for May 28th, which is 100% Chaves County.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing the opioid settlement.
Oh, for the
funding.
So they're discussing on what to do with this money, or
Yeah, so this is a summit. So this is a full day event out at the college.
Okay.
But you need to register for it to be able to participate because
it's free to sign up, but you do need to sign up.
Yeah, but because it's limited to like about 100 people on it.
Well, I'm sure space is limited and whatever.
Space in Roswell is limited everywhere now, due to all kinds of things.
Look, if you got a meeting space, you can make bank. You got a good one.
if you got a good one, especially if it's big enough, and there's a lot building them right now because of this.
Yeah, well, we've learned the void that causes by not having a convention center, huh?
Yeah.
We're learning really, really quickly.
Yeah. But the opioid settlement summit, you can go to 100%chavescounty.com, or again 211. We can get you the information so that you can get registered for that, or give you more information on it. This is something that I think is fantastic because we do have some major issues with, drug abuse.
Absolutely.
And
anybody who says different, they're lying to themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we are actually doing something new. So been looking at trying to come up with a youth initiative. And so came up with a different plan. We're calling it ZAG because it's a Z and Alpha Generation
Okay.
business fair.
Okay.
So we have it's not founding. It's it's our first meeting so that we can get all of those that want to be part of this together and start planning it and getting it going.
Okay.
But basically 6 to 17-year-olds can create a business, and then we will have a fair where they can sell their products.
So they can make a create their own business legitimately.
Right, and that's working with
cool.
getting their business licenses and making sure that they're complete legal to do it. And then we're working on being able to get enough funding through donors to give them the seed money to start. Because part of starting a business is you have to have money. You have to have money to make money.
You need more than an idea.
Right. And so we don't want it to hinder anybody. So we will set it up so that there's seed money so that you can start your project. We're going to do it where you have to actually come and talk to the Shark Tank.
Oh, cool.
You have to pitch your ideas.
Cool. So very kind of create that Shark Tank experience.
Right. And it'll be a full create a business plan. You got to do a budget. It is going to be a true learning experience. And this will teach. So the idea is that it's done just before we go into the Christmas season.
Okay.
So then after you sell, if you decide that you want to continue selling your product, that there will be several opportunities within the next month.
Continue this on to be possibly a legitimate full-time business for you someday.
Right, and especially with the health fair, or with not the health fairs, with the Christmas fairs and the arts fairs coming up, you can just kind of slide right into that.
Some of those are disappearing too with the lack of the. They're trying to find other ways to do it, but again, learning that we need this convention.
Yeah, don't get me started.
But that sounds really cool, and it really, to be honest, if one of these students just dive in with this with both feet, so to speak. Who knows? You might be the next Roswell Seed sitting there. You know what I mean? 100 years from now, we're talking about their business. You never know.
This is a fantastic opportunity. Again, it's that seed money that I think is the big kicker on it. Because when we were looking at it when other communities are doing it, no, there's no money to do this. You pay us to get your booth, and it's like, I don't feel right profiting off kids, right?
Sure. It feels like a scam.
Yeah, and it did. I mean, as a parent, and especially when you're living in an area that's low income, and we all know Chaves County is a low income area, it's not quite right. And every kid has that opportunity because, they may have the best, greatest idea, but no way to do it.
Sure.
And so let's help them.
Absolutely. This is good stuff.
See, this is how health comes. It's all aspects of life.
Absolutely. Health is a term. It's happy, happy and healthy. Those are all synonymous with each other. And you could be the epitome of, your blood pressure's perfect, this and that, but if you don't have plans for the future, then your mental health deteriorates. And health is not just, eat right and exercising. Health is everything. Everything that's your body and impacts your world, your life, and the good things and the bad, that's your health. And all of it impacts it equally, whether it's like, you eat a bunch of junk food, you're going to get fat. Well, guess what? You deal with a bunch of stress and things, your brain's going to go crazy too, and you got to deal with that. And that's it's all the same at the end of the day. But part of that too is when you create the foundations and create the opportunities, then the worries become less. I mean, it's a small business. If you're going to have worries, come on, it's a business. But at the end of the day, you're not worried about how am I going to start it, how am I going to fund it, how am I going to market it, how am I, these things they're learning at that level. And so they can focus on, I love the widget, but now I've learned how to market said widget, how to, turn this widget into a profitable thing for me.
Right. And so where everybody says that kids need something to do, this gives them something to do. This will give them a plan on how that they can make money a legit way to be able to move forward.
Not to mention it's going to broaden them and prepare them for whatever, you know what? They might do this and say, dang it, I don't want to be my own business owner. But guess what? Now they got all these tools, they got all these things, and they can take that and apply it to what they want to do next.
Right.
That's the beauty of it. And, because, we talk with kids, and, sometimes they're excited till they're not anymore. But regardless, there is fundamental, foundational learning experiences for these kids that even if they don't start their own business someday, the things they're going to learn will serve them well in what path they choose.
Yep. And if it's done right, it'll stick with them.
Exactly.
And the goal is to do it right.
So if all this is getting overwhelming for you, don't forget, call 211, and we'll be happy to
get you the information.
Sign it up and things like, because I know we're hitting you with a lot of dates and a lot of other things right now. But big thing is, if you want to be a part of the Health Expo, now's the time to sign up.
Get your booth.
Get your booth. Do that here before the end of the month. Otherwise, you're going to cost you a little bit more. Save you some money. Get it done this month. Get that locked in. Get that done. That way, Carrie and her staff don't have to. That's one less thing they got to. And so do that. And then, of course, please reach out if you're interested in more about this entrepreneurship opportunity with your children, or if you have any more questions about the opioid meeting to learn about what to do with some of that funding. Again, my personal opinion, fix mental health, you fix opioid, just saying.
Well, yeah, and that's a lot of it. So
yeah, I point back
which
to
goes to
mental
these
health.
Community health improvement plans, chips and salsa. We got to bring all that back into it.
And if you have any questions about that, 211.
211.
Or don't forget, the Chaves County Health Council has a Facebook page. I highly recommend you like and follow it. And if you have any questions or anything there, you can, like if you're got something, I know some people have thoughts and over the phone. If you want to combine your thoughts and put them in paper form or in a text form, that would be awesome. We can do that.
Text, call, email, website. We're out there.
Yeah. And if you're wanting to know more about the Health Council, please reach out. They're always looking for more volunteers and people that want to get involved with the community. There's a lot of people that serve through the Health Council that they're doing it just because they want a good community. They may not necessarily be a healthcare expert or this expert, but by being in the room and helping out wherever they can, that's what they're doing. And Health Council needs all kinds of those.
And that's me. I have no background in healthcare at all. I do in food, but no healthcare.
She could cook you some mean sandwich, but she's not a doctor.
Yeah. And I don't pretend to play one on TV
That's
either.
right. Didn't stay at the Holiday Express. Did not figure that one out. So awesome. Did we get it all?
I think we got it all.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, and we'll see you here in a couple weeks. And again, reach out 211. That's the be-all, catch-all. Anything you want to know more about that you just don't understand, call 211. Please be mindful that's not a 24-hour hotline, so during business hours would be appreciated there.
Yep, or leave a voicemail.
And if you do have a medical emergency, 911 all the time. That's the number. Live it, learn it, live by it. That's the deal. So thank you very much. We'll see you here next time here.
All right.
We're going to pause for...
Now for a Pecos Valley news update, I'm Jared Sorello. Two Republicans in Congress, one from West Texas, are arguing that an imperiled lizard is threatening the U.S. oil and gas industry. A new bill called the Limiting Incredulous Zealots Against Restricting Drilling, or Lizard Act. It was introduced by Congressman August Pfluger, whose district includes a large swatch of the Permian Basin oil field around Midland, Odessa. Kansas Congressman Tracy Mann is also co-sponsoring the bill, which would undo federal endangered species status for the Dunes sagebrush lizard. Artesia voters are deciding whether or not to fund up to $7 million in operations at Artesia General Hospital over the next 4 years. It's a mail ballot election that's going on. Voting continues over the next several weeks. The special mill levy has been on the rolls since 1979. It's been renewed by voters every 4 years. Voters must get their mail ballots returned by June 3rd in order to count. The funding is about $2.70 annually for each $1,000 in assessed property value. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Imagine being able to talk to a loved one who's no longer here and hearing them answer in their own voice. AI is making it possible. I'm Kim Commando for Home Title Lock. Go to HometitleLock.com and use promo code KIM to receive a free 14-day trial of their $1 million triple lock protection when you sign up. There's a surge in people using AI to create virtual versions of family and friends. It's not sci-fi, it's real. One company, Storyfile, records video interviews with a simple webcam and turns that into interactive avatars. Ask a question, the AI answers. Over 5,000 people have done it, including actor Ed Eisner, just 8 weeks before he passed. Then there's Hereafter AI, which makes it even more lifelike. Blinking, breathing, making eye contact. One woman created a digital version of her husband before he passed from Lou Gehrig's disease, just so their grandkids could remember him. Creepy or innovative? Probably a little of both. Get my newsletter at getkim.com. Title theft is a growing real estate scam targeting the $32 trillion in American homeowners' equity. Criminals forge your signature on one document, use a fake notary stamp, pay a small fee, and file with your county. Then, your home's title and its equity are in the hands of a criminal. So when is the last time you checked your home title? If you're like me, the answer is never. And that's exactly what scammers are counting on. Use my promo code KIM at HometitleLock.com, and you'll get a free title history report to find out if your title is still in your name. When you sign up, you'll also receive a free 14-day trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's immediate 24/7 monitoring of your property, urgent alerts if there are any changes, and if fraud should happen, their U.S.-based restoration team will spend up to $1 million to fix the fraud and restore your title at no additional cost. Your satisfaction is guaranteed, and you can cancel anytime. Go to HometitleLock.com and use promo code KIM for the protection you deserve.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Hot and windy this weekend, sunshine, and we're going up to about 90 today, a little bit breezy. Overnight, some clouds, upper 50s, and then we have a low pressure system passing to our north on Saturday. Mix of sun and clouds, no rain expected. We'll stay at about 90, wind gusting at about 35 miles an hour. More gusty wind coming up on Sunday, sunshine and 90. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. Big day in Albuquerque yesterday for baseball and softball playoffs. The Goddard Rockets still alive in Class 4A baseball after defeating Chaparral by a score of 12-2. Goddard takes on a familiar foe this afternoon, 12:30, Artesia in the state semifinal. NMMI moves on with a victory in Class 3A over a 9th-seeded Sandia Prep. The Colts are the top seed. They beat the Sun Devils 9-0. They'll take on West Las Vegas this afternoon at 3:30. Gateway Christian Malls Logan 12-2 and 1A. Samuel Wade with 3 doubles. They'll take on number 1 Magdalena in the championship this afternoon at 1 o'clock. In softball, Dexter loses to Cobre 2-1 but bounces back to beat West Las Vegas 10-3. They'll take on Cobre again today at 12. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. Walmart is warning customers that prices will rise for just about everything. Executives told industry analysts that they're doing everything in their power to absorb the higher costs from tariffs ordered by President Donald Trump. Business travel to the United States fell 9% in April as companies and workers grappled with economic uncertainty and anger over the Trump administration's tariffs and border policies. The National Travel and Tourism Office released a preliminary figure Thursday showing the number of airline and ship passengers who entered the country last month using business visas. United Health Group shares plunged nearly 13% on Thursday after a Wall Street Journal report that the U.S. Department of Justice had begun a criminal investigation into the company for potential Medicare fraud. The average rate on a 30-year mortgage in the United States edged above 6.8% this week, returning to where it was just 3 weeks ago. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Hey, Roswell, during these unprecedented times when others are raising prices, Roswell Ford is lowering ours with employee pricing for everyone. So you pay what we pay. Only at Roswell Ford. Make no payments for 90 days. Upside down in your current vehicle and want out early? Roswell Ford can help you get out of your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth, regardless of make, miles, or condition. So you can pay what we pay today with employee pricing to all customers on new Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. And our aggressive finance team will push to approve your credit, even if it's less than perfect. Attention business owners, Roswell Ford has a great selection of commercial vehicles, and we have them for less. Plus, Roswell Ford offers mobile services, so our certified technicians will come to you and perform oil changes, tire rotations, batteries, recalls, and more. Contact us for details. For massive American-made savings and employee pricing for everyone. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell. Call 575-623-3673 or online at roswellford.com. Interest accrues from date of sale on select vehicles. Trade balance refinanced to new loan. Subject to lender approval. Offers not combined. Expires in 1 cent.
After Moses was given the Ten Commandments, he came down and shared the words of the Lord with the people. The Lord had chosen the Israelites out of all the creation on earth to be his people, his treasured possession. Preaching to the Christians of the first century, Peter carries this thought into the time after Christ, saying this: "You are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession. Once you were not a people, but now you are the people of God." He calls and has chosen all to be his people. He's just waiting for us to accept his call. No matter where you find yourself, no matter your past, you are chosen to belong to God. As Paul told the Romans, "I'm convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all of creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord." So join us as we learn how to accept his loving call.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
At Martine's Capital Cafe, come in and enjoy a delicious variety for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Try our burritos, huevos rancheros, asado, chorizo, sausage, flantas, fajitas, chili rellenos, quesadillas, enchiladas, sopapillas, and don't forget their award-winning green chili cheeseburger and so much more. Everything is prepared with the finest and freshest ingredients. Martine's Capital Cafe. Quality, value, tradition, and the most delicious New Mexican food since 1989. Open Monday through Saturday from 6 to 8:30 p.m. at 110 West 4th Street in Roswell.
Step back in time at the Lincoln Forest Renaissance Fair, May 16th through 18th at Wingfield Park in Ruidoso. Join us for 3 magical days of pirates, knights, fairies, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss our Saturday night headliners, Celtic rock legends, the Young Dubliners, lighting up the stage on May 17th at 7 p.m. Get tickets and details now at LincolnForestRenFair.com.
Picture this. You're behind the wheel of a John Deere compact tractor. You're effortlessly breaking ground, moving piles of rocks just by moving a lever, and enjoying the sun as you clear brush across your pasture. We could keep trying to put you in the moment, but to really understand what this feels like, you just have to get in the seat.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia and Roswell, or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The first toilet being flushed in a motion picture was in the movie Psycho. Mike thought it was Gone with the Wind. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 7:56. Stay tuned next hour here about 8:15 or so. Chaves County Manager Bill Williams will join us, give us an update on the last commission meeting and other things happening in and around Chaves County this morning. Also, want to put this on your radar. Tomorrow, Keep Roswell Beautiful is having their Great American Cleanup. It is this Saturday, tomorrow, May 17th. They're having folks gather and meet at the Roswell Municipal Landfill tomorrow, which is at 3006 West Brasher Road, if you're not familiar. How this works is the registration will start at 8 a.m. Bring your group down that wants to volunteer to clean up an area. There you can pick up your gloves, your vest, trash grabbers, trash bags, all that stuff there, and then head out to your location that you've deemed to clean up. I'm sure if you're looking for spots, they'd be happy to do this. Also, I'm not sure the availability left since we're 24 hours out, but give this a try. If you have a youth group of 10 or more, so like your sports teams or church group or civic organization that's got a youth group of 10 or more, they're encouraged to join. your youth group could earn $400 for the group by participating thanks to the Empowering Youth Fundraiser Program. Like I said, I'm not sure, but there was limited spots available. But give them a call today if you think you can rustle up 10 for your youth, for your group to do this. You need to get a hold of TJ Connors with Keep Roswell Beautiful. You can reach TJ at 575-637-6274. Again, 575-637-6274. Or email TJ, t.conyers, C-O-N-Y-E-R-S, at roswell-nm.gov. T.conyers at roswell-nm.gov. That way, give them a call. Maybe we can get you set up and earn $400 for your youth group. But you have to have youth 10 or more. So reach out. But like I said, I don't know how much is left. It's been going on for a couple weeks now. But if you're just hearing about it, call TJ today. Again, 575-637-6274, and see if we can still work your youth group in to maybe get out there, do some cleanup, and get a little cash to help your organization out as well, too, there. But that's for youth organizations. Adults, just you get to do it for the love of doing it. So, but no, it's a great thing. Just a great way to clean up. But that'll be tomorrow, the 17th. From cleanup is from 9 to noon. Registration will begin at 8 a.m., and if you have any more questions, stuff, you can reach out to TJ as well, 637-6274. Let's see. We got about 50 seconds before they kick me off the radio for news here. We will have, if you're just tuning in, high school baseball playoff action for Goddard's game against Artesia. We're going to have that. You can hear audio only at ksvptv.com. It's in the Bulldog channel because we're going to be bringing you the Gateway Championship game at 1 o'clock here on Roswell's Talk FM, so we can't do both at the same time. So Goddard fans, you're going to have to listen to Joby in that version. But Gateway Christian, we're going to have the championship game for you here at 1 o'clock. And then NMMI semifinal action right after that game here today. First pitch is at 3:30. We'll probably join it in progress because the Gateway game should be still going. All right, it's 8 o'clock. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. Getting into, out of, and around New York City is a real problem this morning after New Jersey transit workers went on strike in a dispute over wages.
This marks the Garden State's first transit strike in more than 40 years. The walkout affects all New Jersey Transit commuter trains. Those trains provide heavily used routes between New York City's Penn Station on one side of the Hudson River. They also provide transportation for communities in northern New Jersey on the other side of the Hudson, as well as Newark Airport.
Correspondent Andrew Stewart says the walkout affects some 350,000 commuters. On Capitol Hill, House Republicans are working to bridge their disagreements in the massive Trump tax cut and budget package.
Warring factions inside the House Republican Conference huddled with Speaker Mike Johnson Thursday, talking primarily over what to do about SALT, the state and local tax deduction. New York Republican Mike Lawler wants to increase the cap on SALT deductions from $10,000 to $30,000.
We're waiting to hear back from the Speaker with more information and a counteroffer.
Majority Leader Steve Scalise says more needs to be done.
A few other issues to be worked out. We've had some other meetings with the Speaker and myself, a number of members earlier today on SALT. We're working through some final issues. This is always what happens when you have a big bill like this.
Bernie Bennett in Washington.
Two of the biggest cable companies in the country are getting together. Charter Communications is merging with Cox Communications in a deal worth more than $34 billion. President Trump says he's moving to set up direct talks with Russia's Vladimir Putin about ending the war in Ukraine. And he says he hopes to meet with Putin soon. Meanwhile, Russian and Ukrainian delegations today are holding their first peace talks in 3 years amid low expectations. More at townhall.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
The Department of Homeland Security wants a new multi-million-dollar jet.
$50 million to buy a new long-range Gulfstream to replace the one used by Secretary Kristi Noem and top Coast Guard and DHS officials. The request for funding to come from the Coast Guard's 2025 fiscal year budget came up during the House Appropriations Subcommittee meeting. Democratic Representative Lauren Underwood of Illinois, the ranking member of the Homeland Security Subcommittee on Appropriations, said she was horrified to receive a last-minute addition to the service's budget proposal for the jet, noting Noem already has another Gulfstream to use. Underwood called it wasting taxpayer dollars on luxury travel and political stunts. DHS officials say the replacement is a matter of safety. Bill Alexander, Washington.
President Trump has been complaining about the age of the planes that serve as Air Force One. News and analysis at townhall.com. Population in parts of Texas booming.
The U.S. Census Bureau released 2023-2024 population numbers, and Princeton in Collin County, just northeast of the DFW Metroplex, showed the fastest growth of any city in the country, with a 30.6% growth rate to 37,000 residents. Houston had the second largest numeric gain behind New York, but ahead of Los Angeles. San Antonio was fourth in that category. Fort Worth was fifth. Tasha Stevens reporting.
Retail sales were up just a bit in April after consumer spending surged in March. 2 months ago, sales were up a solid 1.7% as Americans rushed to buy cars and other goods before tariffs kicked in. Last month, though, sales at retail stores and restaurants rose just 0.1%. Some economists expect spending to slow in the coming months because of ongoing tariffs. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The Javelin, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
Dos Deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Buenos Friday.
Ah, yes.
It's the Biernesses of the Biernesses.
It's the penultimate Friday of your school year.
Yeah, happy Friday. We got a bevy of playoff baseball. Yeah, mostly baseball. A little softball action here today. Hey, I didn't explain what happened at 11 yesterday. If you were hoping to tune in for the Goddard softball at 11, we were ready to bring you Goddard softball at 11. They were not ready to bring you Goddard softball at 11. The game before them was still going, and they didn't end up starting that game until after 12.
Right.
And we had a baseball game at 12:30 that we're going to. So because of the latent start of that game, we decided to just, rather than cover over most of the baseball game because the softball, we just started the baseball at 12:30 because it was on time.
Right.
And just got updates. So that was the reason we didn't bring you the softball game yesterday. The window of the game moved, and it really didn't allow us to cover both. So
pretty much the only game you can guarantee is going to start on time is the first game of the day. And even then, it's a stretch.
To be honest, the rest of the day on the other fields were fine. It was that one field and that one game early that went long, and it just kind of
pushes everything back.
On that field back a bit.
Yep.
And so that's that's just the nature of playoffs. Now, the good news today, there's still plenty of baseball, lots of it, and softball. But there is less teams in because that's how playoffs work. And so, therefore, there are technically less games, which means they probably won't be as impacted today by time.
Right.
That being said, the first game could go extra innings and blow everything up. But
they're tied in the 13th inning.
Yeah, but historically speaking, that it usually goes a little faster here. But that being said, unfortunately, the Goddard softball team lost that matchup against St. Pius yesterday, which means they are finished for the season. They were in the consolation bracket. So had they won yesterday, we would have been kicked off the radio here in about 45 minutes to bring you that softball game. However, that's not done. But we still have plenty of action for you. Goddard Rocket baseball team did advance yesterday. They were playing in the semifinals against a very familiar opponent, the number 1 seed, Artesia Bulldogs.
Yep.
Goddard's a 12 seed. It's 1 versus 12. That game will take place at 12:30 today. We will have it for you. Unfortunately, Goddard fans, it's going to be the Artesia perspective.
Yeah.
The actual, if you want to listen to it on the radio, it's going to be on our sister station 990. Unless you're farther south in the county or near Artesia, you're probably not going to be able to pick it up. You can kind of get it here during the day, but it's scratchy at best.
Yeah. AMs are hard to pick up at the daytime anyways if you're out of range.
Yeah. Therefore, what I recommend you do is go to ksvptv.com here at 12:30 and go to the Artesia Bulldog channel. There you'll be able to hear the game. Like I said, Joby Hotling will be calling that game for you, and so it will be from a Artesia perspective. And I know you're thinking, well, why can't you carry the game? Trust me, we would love to, but we want to provide opportunity because at 1 o'clock today, Gateway Christian is playing in the championship game here today, and they are the 2 seed, and they're going to be taking on the 1 seed Magdalena here at 1 o'clock. That game we will have for you right here on 106.5 Roswell Talk FM. Henry Villarreal will be calling that matchup for us here today. But wait, there's more. So Goddard fans, go to ksvptv.com at 12:30. Gateway Christian fans, be here at 1 o'clock. We will also have audio only in the Mornings with Mike Winters channel for the Gateway Christian game as well, too. So you can listen online there. At 3:30 today, the NMMI Colts are playing in semifinal matchup. They won last night in quarterfinal action 9-0 over Sandia Prep. NMMI Colts are the 1 seed in 3A. So they will play their semifinal match at 3:30 this afternoon against the 5 seed West Las Vegas. We will bring that game to you and probably join it in progress right after the Gateway Christian game. Like I said, that's a 3:30 start, 1 o'clock start for Gateway. It usually takes more than an hour and a half to get a baseball game in. So we'll probably, what's going to happen is Henry's going to be kind of like yesterday and turn his Harry Potter clock and then book it on over to the next field to bring you the NMMI game. I believe Jeff Gunn's going to be back with him to help him call that matchup. But first pitch is at 3:30. We will bring it to you right at the conclusion of the Gateway Christian championship game against Magdalena. So that's today's baseball action. Now, if NMMI wins today, they go to the championship game. They will play that championship game 12:30 tomorrow.
Okay.
If the Goddard Rockets defeat the Artesia Bulldogs at 12:30 today, that championship game will be at 3:30 p.m. tomorrow. We will have both of those matchups for you right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. But first, both have to win.
Card subject to change. Right?
So as soon as if they get victories today, then we'll have those 2 games for you tomorrow.
But this way, if you tune in for the NMMI championship game and you hear dudes talking about cigars and scotch, they didn't make it through.
We didn't get there. So. But that's the plan for today here and for the rest of the tournament.
I can't even explain why, but the whole time you're running down these schedules, and I've got like the last scene from the movie Rookie of the Year just like playing in my head, where he loses the snap, he loses the ability, and his mom comes out and gives him the suggestion of slow pitch softball floating it.
Yes.
That would never fly in regulation baseball. You can't underhand float a ball, can you?
That's where your problems begin?
That is where my problems with that movie began. Absolutely.
Not the fact that the 9-year-old's in Major League Baseball.
Not a sober Gary Busey hanging out with Ian Michael Nicholas has nothing to do with it.
He somehow mysteriously falls and now he's got a super arm. I mean, that's where you pick your... All right.
Hey. I'm of a firm belief that they can over-tighten a tendon and give you a powerful
Do you
throw.
think any Major League Baseball franchise would hire Daniel Stern to work in their organization?
Or Gary Busey?
Or Gary Busey. Well, maybe back then Gary Busey, not current Gary
and
Busey.
even like he was like sober and not totally crazy.
Oh yeah,
Gary
this was
Busey.
that was before he went off the rails, Busey.
But go back and watch that movie and listen to some of his lines. He's still way out there.
He wasn't full Busey then. He wasn't like, if you want to see the most with it Busey, Under Siege. It went off the rails after Under Siege.
Yeah. Of course he was. That's all direction. I would say he was directed correctly.
We all can blame.
Just let Busey be Busey.
So what we learned from that statement is Steven Seagal is responsible for the downfall of Gary Busey.
Yes.
By the way, have you seen? I mean, Seagal. I literally saw a thing of him from 2 days ago.
He's
at some event.
He's looking.
There's a whole lot of Steven Seagal now.
He's a plump fella. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like it's almost to the point of whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, well, he's put on some weight. It's whoa.
on South Park, they did a whole episode about bullying, and Steven Seagal came out because they were calling him Steven Saboom Boom, which makes me chuckle. I would say peak crazy Busey.
Yeah.
The movie Black Sheep.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
He was where he played. Honestly, he just played himself. He was just some dude who lived in a trailer in the woods.
What's the one? Is that the one where? What's the one where he's like on the beach and he's like fighting everybody? That was what? It was a comedy movie, and they literally go to see Busey, and he's like at his place, but it's on the water, and he's literally beating up people, throwing them around. It's just.
I don't think that's This is the one where he's.
Oh, it's it's not that movie, but it's another movie that he has a cameo in, and they go to see him like the guru or something, and
was that an episode of Entourage?
Maybe it was from Entourage.
It's called Busey and the Beach.
You know what?
Ari's former assistant Josh, now a competing agent, woos.
It was from Entourage.
Yep.
Okay, that's right. I know I remember seeing this scene, and I was a fan of Entourage back in the day, so that jives. That's probably what it is. So
there you go.
Very good. That was vintage. Because to be honest, I'm like, I don't know if he's acting, dude. I think this is just Busey.
One of my favorite Busey stories, maybe of all time, is the story how in the 80s he was cutting up lines and he spilled some of his cocaine onto his dog and he grabbed the dog and sniffed it out of his hair.
That's about par for the course.
That's commitment to the bit.
Or that's experience ushered in that scene. Either way, don't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we should probably get the hour going.
Oh, yeah.
That's the other thing. I got to get some commercials in. When you carry a bunch of baseball games, and we carry, each of those games have sports, sponsors that pay. That doesn't leave a lot of time to play for the rest. Pay
other sponsors
and play them and pay for those rest of those ads. So guess who gets them? It'd be me. So what we're gonna do is we'll get the hour going here. Like I said, Chavez County Manager Bill Williams will join us here in just a bit. But before we do that, let's go ahead and get you up to date with the weather. Then we're gonna roll right into the break to pay because I got like 4 minutes of ads, so I want to get it all in. So let's pause for weather, commercial break, and then on the other side, Chavez County Manager Bill Williams will join us. Don't go away.
Weather this hour brought to you by Southwest Bearing under new ownership. Custom solutions for your heavy equipment. Hydraulic hoses, hose repair, bearings, seals, sprockets, belts, tools, fluids, and fittings.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Hot and windy this weekend, sunshine, and we're going up to about 90 today, a little bit breezy. Overnight, some clouds, upper 50s, and then we have a low-pressure system passing to our north on Saturday. Mix of sun and clouds, no rain expected. We'll stay at about 90, wind gusting at about 35 miles an hour. More gusty wind coming up on Sunday, sunshine and 90. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Hey, Roswell, during these unprecedented times when others are raising prices, Roswell Ford is lowering ours with employee pricing for everyone. So you pay what we pay. Only at Roswell Ford. Make no payments for 90 days. Upside down in your current vehicle and want out early? Roswell Ford can help you get out of your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth, regardless of make, miles, or condition. So you can pay what we pay today with employee pricing to all customers on new Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. And our aggressive finance team will push to approve your credit, even if it's less than perfect. Attention business owners, Roswell Ford has a great selection of commercial vehicles, and we have them for less. Plus, Roswell Ford offers mobile services, so our certified technicians will come to you and perform oil changes, tire rotations, batteries, recalls, and more. Contact us for details. For massive American-made savings and employee pricing for everyone, get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell. Call 575-623-3673 or online at roswellford.com. Interest accrues from date of sale on select vehicles. Trade balance refinanced to new loan subject to lender approval. Offers not combined. Expires at month's end.
Did you know almost 75% of the time we're replacing a roof, something totally weird or unexpected or bizarre happens? Jennifer here again from Trustmark Roofing, and I want you to know that we are always prepared for the unexpected. That's why we always have project superintendent on site at your home at all times to handle those weird, bizarre things as they pop up. Things like an unexpected layer of wood shake shingles under your shingles or rotted out decking boards, problems with flashing or ridges or missing supplies that somebody needs to chase down. These are the kinds of problems that normally grind the crews from other roofing companies to a halt and delay the project. But not with our super awesome superintendent there. He's equipped to handle any problem and keep the project moving along smoothly. Just one more way we do things better at Trustmark Roofing. If you have any roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Your home is your sanctuary, and the land it's built on is even more precious. So when termites start devouring your house, you want a proven treatment that's environmentally responsible. You want the Centricon Termite Colony Elimination System. The Centricon system is the green way to protect homes from subterranean termites. Rather than surrounding your house with hundreds of gallons of diluted chemical solution, the Centricon system strategically uses just a few grams of active ingredient in termite bait, working with natural termite behavior to destroy termite colonies. With this technology, it's no wonder the Centricon system became the only termite treatment to receive the Presidential Green Chemistry Challenge Award from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. And homeowners rate the Centricon system as the most environmentally sound termite treatment. Your home is your sanctuary, so monitor, bait, and eliminate termites with the Centricon system. Think of it as your own little piece on Earth.
Call Bob Reed Pest Control today for all of Southeast New Mexico. 575-623-5344.
Spring has sprung, so it's time to move on into the Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop in Roswell. Now the Cow is an authorized handy quilter long-arm dealer. Spring fabrics are here and summer fabrics are arriving daily, plus quilts, shirts, and rope bowls made right here at the Calico Cow. Brother sewing machines with warranties are also on sale. Plus, the Calico Cow can fix and perform maintenance on all brands. Log on to RoswellQuilting.com. Spring into the Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop, 200 East College in Roswell. Want to know how? Come see the cow.
The summer of fun is on at Roswell Honda. Now through the end of the month, get scorching savings across the lot on a great selection of vehicles, like a new 2026 Honda Passport as low as 3.99% for 36 months, or a 25 Honda Civic Sedan Hybrid, just 4.99% for 48 months, or lease a 2025 Honda Ridgeline all-wheel drive, just $409 a month for 36 months. Roswell Honda has the deals to take your summer adventure to a whole new level. The summer of fun begins at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Elephants use these skin folds on their bodies to crush mosquitoes. Mike Winters uses his to hide M&Ms. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, Chaves County Manager Bill Williams back with us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good to see you.
Good seeing you. How's life in your world this morning?
Everything's going pretty good. I stayed up later than usual. I was up to almost midnight last night, so I'm wiped out.
Yeah, I feel that.
It's been a while since I stayed up till midnight.
Yeah, I hear you. I you know, it's funny because I was kind of a night owl in my younger days, and even to, you know, Friday, Saturday nights, I'm like, oh, I'm going to stay up till late watching TV or whatever. My wife, she usually crashes out at 9. And in my
earlier days, yeah, I'd be doing. Now, Friday nights, I'm like 10 o'clock. I'm like, oh. I'm like, I'm going to try to stay at 11. I'm going to try really hard. But it just, unless there's something really, really good on TV, I'm usually trying to stay awake at about 10 o'clock on weekends now.
Yeah, it's usually, I'm going to stay awake till 9.
Yeah. Well, 9's my normal.
I remember my dad, no matter what, company over or whatever, 9 o'clock, it's bedtime. He'd get up and walk out of the room and leave. And
Well, that's kind of my father-in-law. And he's a retired CPA. And even to this day, and he's been retired for years. I mean, he still does a little bit, but he's a retired person. He's off traveling. He spends his time on ships and you know what I mean. But anyway, to this day, that man still goes to bed at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and gets up at like 2:33 in the morning every single day. Still, that's just his thing. Because he'd usually get up that early, and then he'd work on his tax returns and everything else.
Well, I work in an office now, and so I don't go to work till 8 o'clock, but I still get up at 5 o'clock every morning.
Yeah.
Throw back to the rest of my life where I had to be at work early.
It's as a person that does spend a lot of time, you get up, get the shower, out the door. It is kind of nice when you can sit down and maybe have a beverage and catch a little news or something to kind of step into your day. So, but yeah, you got to get up early to do that. And I'm like, all right. I already get up early enough. Do I want to get up earlier just to do that, if I had a job where I could be a little in later, I probably would do that myself. But now I'm literally, I roll out of bed, roll to the bathroom, the shower up, and roll out the door.
Well, you were telling me before the show started that you got here at like 6:15 yesterday, and went home at 9:30 last night.
Yeah, yesterday was a bit of a long day.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. Well, every once in a while, come to playoff time. Today won't be as bad. If all goes according to plan, I should be out of here about 6:30 tonight.
Well,
that's not so bad.
Well, we had an interesting county commission meeting yesterday.
Interesting, good?
Well, it wasn't bad. It was just
interesting,
different than anything I've ever seen.
Things that make you go,
So we got a call about a month ago that one of our lobbyists in Washington was working to put together a fly-in for SRS, which is Secure Rural Schools funding. So that goes to forested counties.
Okay.
And so the receipts they make off timber harvest, grazing, those kind of things go back to a piece of it goes back to the counties that the forests are in. Well, Chaves County being a heavily forested
I was about to say,
county,
I was like, one thing we're known for is our woods.
Our county receives about $34,000 a year from the federal government.
Is there part of the Lincoln National Forest that technically goes into
just
Chaves
a little
County?
piece of it, just a not very big at all, but there is a postage stamp size piece in the county. So $34,000 comes to the county, and so there is more to this story because people are going to say, you flew to Washington for so we got a call about a month ago, and so we're going to have a fly-in trying to assure that the SRS funding gets funded.
Gotcha.
And it looks maybe promising that it will be funded for the next 4 years.
Okay.
But anyway, they called and said, hey, we really need some representation from New Mexico. You guys are some of our most up to speed on this stuff. And so they asked me to see if we could get one of our commissioners to go.
Gotcha.
So I called the chairman, and he's, it's his commission, so it's certainly his choice who goes. And he says, well, I'm going to go, and we'll get Michael Perry to go. And so Commissioner Taylor and Michael Perry flew off to Washington to do that. Now let me give you the backstory on the $34,000. What happens with SRS, because it has a prior requirement to be paid to the counties and across the U.S. So if they do not fund SRS, they reach into the pocket of PILT, which is payment in lieu of taxes. They reach in there, grab a handful of money, and they spread that around.
So basically, if we don't fight for this, they're going to rob Peter to pay Paul here.
Exactly. And when they rob Paul, we're in trouble. I mean, it certainly makes a bigger difference.
Sure.
To us. So they make all these other counties whole, and places in Oregon and Washington, Idaho, have lots of forested areas. Even other areas in New Mexico, that works good for them because they are always made whole. But when they reach into the payment in lieu of taxes, the PILT pocket, areas
there's
like
a reason
us,
for that, and it needs that too.
Areas like us that have a lot of BLM land, leftover government lands that we get a small amount of pay for. We don't get that much for those anyway
Right.
in lieu of property taxes, but we do get a little bit.
But we need whatever we get from it.
Last time that happened, we lost 8% of our PILT payment.
Wow.
So
we're trying to protect other funds by signing up.
Exactly.
And
So
also-
Chaves County gets $34,000 for SRS, but we get $4 million for PILT. So
Gotcha.
we stand to lose if it stays at 8% loss, $320,000. So we're definitely going to fight for that $34,000.
Absolutely, it's
that.
not. And plus, too, this is also part of that thing where a lot of times when we talk about especially BLM issues and things like that, counties rally.
Right.
Eddie, Lincoln, Lee, Chavez, we're all usually on the same fight here together.
Right.
And at the end of the day, yes, 34 for us, but I'm going to take a stab. Lincoln County's got a much bigger cut in that.
Oh, on SRS.
Yeah,
I'm certain
and
they
so
do.
that would be a bigger impact. So even if it's just 30 for us, there's also the thing is, look, when it's bigger for us, they're supporting us. We need to support them, kind
right.
of thing. And that's so there is that.
Otero and Lincoln are
mindset
both
there.
huge in the Lincoln National Forest.
Yeah.
We have, like I said, tiny piece in Chaves County, a tiny piece in Eddie
And both
County.
huge in fighting in other battles that we share common interest in.
But it's funny that you mentioned the other counties
Yeah.
because Chaves County were, as far as I know, we were the only county from New Mexico that attended this SRS fly-in. But we also got a call from cattle growers. They're there today, actually, and they're fighting the National Interest Electric Transmission Corridors. And they said, we need some representation.
Which we've talked about a few times.
Yes, we've talked about
on
it
the
quite a
show,
bit.
yeah.
1.8 million acres, little north of that, in 8 counties in New Mexico.
we-
Chaves County only has 70,000
Well,
acres potentially.
We don't want to get in the devil in detail, but look it up and the potential for a lot of issues that you're going to lose some rights is all I'm saying if this thing flies
it's a
through.
huge
That's
private
what we're
property
talking about.
rights
Yeah.
issue, and so anyway, they called, said we're going to be in Washington. We need some representation. So there's several counties involved in that. Roosevelt County's up there, Otero County's there, Chaves County is there, and so anyway, they called and said, hey, we need somebody to be there. So, well, that's when our commission meeting happens, but let me see what I can do. So we agreed Michael Perry would stay over. So Michael and the chairman went for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And the chairman flew back on Wednesday so he could be here for the commission meeting on Thursday.
Okay.
Michael stayed over for the other meetings that they were having on Capitol Hill, the lobbying efforts going in to stop the transmission corridor.
Right.
In the meantime, another entity that we work with on a variety of issues, they're on Capitol Hill fighting to reform the Endangered Species Act because that's been weaponized so much over the last
That's a 4-letter
50
word
years.
around here.
And so they called and said, Michael Perry, you're a retired game and fish guy. Worked in the state land office as the assistant state land office.
So this is the blessing and the curse of wearing many hats.
So they said, we would really like you to join us in some of these lobbying efforts with your perspective as a game and fish guy, because
Sure.
you can certainly speak to a different
Sure.
part of it than the rest of us
You
can.
have an expertise there that others don't.
So
Yeah.
Michael's been extremely busy. He won't be coming back until tomorrow. So Commissioner Perry will be coming back on Saturday.
But it sounds like he's fighting the
been
good fight at
entire
every
week.
one of these here. So yeah.
Now the interesting twist for our county commission meeting was that anytime you fly into Dallas, there's a pretty good likelihood that you're going to be delayed.
What? No way.
So
In this day and age?
we were
No way.
concerned about that. As it turns out, Dallas did and didn't cause our chairman not to be available for the meeting. The actual problem was when they flew back east Monday, I think it was, there was a lot of storms and mass flooding and stuff in Maryland. And
Yeah, there was a lot of delays across the board.
So they had some bad weather there. So when he got ready to come back on Wednesday, the plane was like 30 minutes late, and then they sat out on the tarmac, moving from one runway to the other, deciding which direction to launch into the wind. Probably had to fly around the storm. And then by the time they got to Dallas, there's not a lot of flights coming to Roswell.
Sure, it's a very limited.
So he missed that. So yesterday morning, he phoned in while he was waiting to get on his plane to come to Roswell.
Well, as long as he did get on the plane, they had to shut down.
and he did manage to stay for nearly the entire meeting.
Nice.
I cannot imagine being in an airport and doing that. But what he did is
Although
he said, I'm going to appoint Commissioner Dana as the chairman pro tem. That way, please run the meeting for me. And he was there
So
to
when the
vote.
flight attendant kicks him off the phone, we can still continue.
Well, at the very end, when we got to the approval of checks and stuff, he said, we're boarding the plane.
Right.
I've got to go. But he managed to make it through all of the agenda items.
I'm not gonna lie.
And-
Secretly, I would have loved to hear the stewardess you need to turn it off now. No, wait one more minute. No, right now. I would have loved that dialogue. That would have been fun.
Put it in the overhead
Right.
bin. Yeah. So that was an interesting little twist, and he did a great job. There's just a little bit of a delay when you phone in. I don't know how many milliseconds it is
Yeah.
or whatever, but sometimes it might be 10 seconds or so,
Yeah.
and so it would be entirely impossible to run a meeting.
You have to treat it like a walkie-talkie and say over every time you're done.
Yeah, exactly, and wait for the response. And so the chairman did a real good job of passing that mantle over to Commissioner Dana. So we had 3 commissioners in-house because Michael Perry, again, was in Washington.
Sure.
And he was being more effective. He was at Department of Ag, I believe, by the time we started our meeting.
Sounds like he's taking care of business.
Yeah, he's really earning his pay for the taxpayers, and so did Commissioner Perry or Commissioner Taylor. I mean, both of them, I think they hit some home runs this week. It appears that that's the case, and so we're waiting to see how that goes. Quickly before we get into the agenda, and I know talked a lot already and haven't even started on the agenda. It seems like the lesser prairie chicken listing might. Well, I know that it's over according to the Fish and Wildlife Service.
Right.
They totally rescinded the listing of the lesser prairie chicken. They divided into a northern and a southern distinct population
So
segment.
we're finally
and
done with talking about chickens?
Well, we're close. up on the northern part, there was a court case, and they said you cannot do that. And they ripped them and did everything. In the meantime, while that was happening, they were backing off, says, you know what, all the data that we have in place isn't legitimate. This isn't right. We're going to have to back off of this. But they didn't want to vacate the listing entirely. And our lawyers stuck up and said, no, we want total vacatur.
Yeah, we want to be done with this.
And that way, if they come back with it, they've got to start over. They've got to produce all new studies and everything to assure that it's right.
Yeah.
And so they agreed to that. So now they're removing the listing and vacating it. However, our lawyers still want to proceed and go to court because they don't want it to be vacated based on just this factor.
Well, I'm
They
wondering
want to
if-
be sure that they spell out and get it
Are they
in writing that all these things were what was wrong with this.
And that's what I'm wondering is I don't want them to set the table for, okay, it's dead for now, but another administration comes in and they're going to fire this back up again. That's what we want to end.
And it appears that the dunes, sagebrush, sand dunes, sagebrush, lizard, whatever. I think they've changed the name of it 2 or 3 times, so I can never remember. But the lizard and the chicken seem to have been Endangered Species Act was being weaponized against the oil and gas industry because the science never added up. They wouldn't review any science from any outside third-party entities. They would only use
it's
theirs.
slanted
and
data.
It was definitely an issue. So anyway, those 2 things are pretty good.
That's a good thing.
Wins that our county governments have been fighting those things
Oh, yeah,
for
these
a
are
long time.
20 plus years of fighting these things.
Well,
man.
in 2014, we sued the federal government. Chaves County was involved in that lawsuit, saying that the lesser prairie chicken should not be a threatened species, and they
Mhm.
won that. There was overwhelming proof that shouldn't even be threatened. And then they did an end run and did some strange things that had never been done before, and ended up listing it as not only threatened but as an endangered species.
I remember the rallies where everyone's grilling chicken and
tastes just like lizard.
Ate well those years.
So anyway, things are looking good, but county representatives, not just Chaves County, but just like you said, all of our counties are working.
Absolutely.
Most of our counties in our area are working well
you have
together
to come as a
and
united
fighting
front.
the same fight.
That's whenever these things come up, they have to come united front because if they come individually, they're going to get their butts handed to them individually.
And the good thing is you get somebody, like say Commissioner Perry was requested to come speak on a couple of different things while he was there.
Mhm.
Or I don't mean speak because he's lobbying, So yeah, there is some speaking, but I mean it's not speeches.
Sure. It's not orations of
making the rounds and making sure people understand the impacts and all that. So, we're really fortunate that our elected officials are able to utilize their strengths and be in different places. Commissioner Dana is our New Mexico County's board member. So she represents us on New Mexico issues with New Mexico counties. And that's a different variety of things. You know, it might be them trying to change the work week or the contributions. You know, there's a myriad of things that they're trying to do to workers.
He's
and stuff,
doing a
and
term
she's
that,
involved in that.
Yeah, he's using a term we don't use so much anymore. He's being a statesman. You know what I mean? That's, Ben Franklin, statesman. This is what he's doing. You know, yes, you're county commissioner, but at the end of the day, you're a representative of people, and you're trying to do the best for not only your people, but other people that are sharing similar
And we're very
needs.
fortunate. Like say, you know, Commissioner Perry and Commissioner Taylor were both in Washington this week.
Yeah.
And Commissioner Dana does her stuff throughout the state and assisting us in those areas. Commissioner Wade is going to be going to South Dakota next week, I believe it is, with the Western Interstate region of National Association of Counties, fighting the battles that all of our Western states have. And Commissioner Korn, of course, he's new and he's been involved in agriculture his whole life, and he's assisting us in those. We haven't found all the commissions and meetings and stuff that he needs to go to, or be a member of, but it's coming. And we're very fortunate that all of our commissioners are tuned in and doing stuff. So.
All right, well, let's move on with the agenda, but I got to do one more joke because you said it right there. With a name like Corn, he has no agriculture. Sorry, move on.
Very good.
I did a marketing thing.
So our agenda was actually pretty light. We had 2 public hearings. One of them was to accept the infrastructure capital improvement plan, which we work on every year. It's a 5-year plan, shows all the things that we want to do and the timeline over the next 5 years to improve county infrastructure. And we always have a public hearing because public's welcome. You know, the county employees work together and put this plan together as to what they think the county needs, but we need to do what the public wants.
Sure.
And so
it's kind of like the city master plan stuff that's been going on all week. County's got to do the same kind of deal.
Right.
Every entity does it.
So we always have an open meeting. So if someone wants to come forward and say, you know, what I'd like to see is this, or what about that? And no one came forward yesterday, but also no one opposed the things that we're trying to do. And currently the county has $18 million worth of improvement projects, from health department to the cultural plaza, renovating a building for
we've got a good list.
4-H, yeah. So they're doing a lot of good things, and that was the public hearing there. We also had a public hearing for an ordinance for a franchise agreement with LECO, Rural Telephone Cooperative.
Okay.
And we have franchise agreements. We've never had one with LECO, strangely, but then again, it's a couple of counties away. But
I was about to say they do mostly Lee County stuff.
Yeah, they're kind of growing, I think, with the attempts to provide, you know, good network to everybody.
Absolutely.
You know, there's a big push everywhere to do that, but we've never had a franchise agreement. It's a non-exclusive franchise agreement. Just says we understand you're going to be putting infrastructure and our rights away and those sorts of things. We have them with.
It sounds like they're growing, and we're just setting the table to help them grow into Chaves
They
County.
usually last for 25 years. We've got them with, you know, Otero Electric. We've got them with Central Valley Cooperative. We've got them with XL, SPS. You know, we have a lot of those.
All the major power entities and probably Brendo and all
those kind of
them
things.
too.
Yeah, and we don't make any money off those. That's not what they're designed for. It's more of a mutual understanding of what each side is going to do.
Sure.
And
just making sure everyone's got utilities when they need them in Chaves County.
I kind of hate them because they run for 25 years, and unless you're really on your game, you're going to miss that this one's expiring. I found, over the last several years, I've redone about 6 of those. And it's like, oh my gosh, we just stumbled onto these.
Well,
something.
I think now when we get them, you got to put reminders on phones because you know, back then that technology didn't exist, but now we can all right, put a reminder on the phone. 25 years is up.
We had 2 agreements yesterday. One of them was to award a recommendation and agreement for legal services for Chaves County, and we awarded that to Stanton L. Riggs.
Okay.
He
might have heard of that guy.
He's been the county attorney for many years.
And county manager.
And then he was county manager /
during that
attorney
time
for
too.
many years.
Yeah.
And then he retired as county manager, moved off to Albuquerque because his wife, of course, is a federal judge.
Yeah.
But he stayed in the mix, you know, with us. And certainly has the institutional knowledge, not just about local government law, but specifically about Chaves County local government law and the things that we've
I'm going to say
defended over the years.
Part of deep down, it's still his home, still his place, and as much as he cared for and did so much while he was here, that doesn't go away because he moved 3 hours north. So he's continuing to do. I mean, obviously he couldn't be county manager anymore. It's kind of hard to do that from Albuquerque. Exactly. He's always, and I'm going to take a stab. You probably call him a couple times a week just to bend his ear and talk about things.
At least a couple times a week. At least a couple times a week. No, he's a great resource, and of course we have to go out for requests for proposals, and everyone has an opportunity to turn something in. And Stan was the successful bidder on that. Let's put it that way.
Congratulations!
And it's interesting because how do you send out a bid to a county? This is what it's going to cost you for legal.
Sure.
And the first time we did it, some of them said, "Well, this is what we charge for this type of work. This is what we charge if an associate does this. What it charges." And we said, "Well, we don't even know how many hours we're going to put in. We don't know what we're agreeing to if we do that."
And that's where maybe Stan had a slight advantage. He knows county business as much as he knows the lawyer business.
He knows county business, and like say specifically knows Chaves County business. You're going to spend about this much time.
Yeah, he's going to tell you
about this much time.
You're going to need about this many hours a year, or whatever it is.
He can provide a firm fixed price where it's kind of difficult for others to do that.
He's the most knowledgeable of all aspects of this particular thing, so it makes sense. Yeah.
But to be fair, Stan actually, to be fair to others, I mean, Stan is a fair guy.
Well, he's a lawyer, and
to be fair
they live
to
in that
others,
world.
he gives us a breakdown every month of I spent approximately this many hours on this type of work, this many on this type of work.
So he's very
when we
transparent.
do go back to the RFP, we can say we expect that the successful bidder will spend about this much time on this and about this much time on this.
It gives you a bit
they
of
can give a better price.
Sure.
And he
said,
made it easier for the others to compete against him.
Well,
but that shows you the quality of guy he is.
But it also makes you get the right people applying, because people are applying and say, look, this is the job, and look, because of he's done it, he knows almost to the penny what it's going to cost to do this thing, and so it makes sense here, and and to be honest, it's nice and he's doing that and all too, but yes, that is the service to the county, because even if you guys decided to go somewhere else, whoever that attorney would be now really has the roadmap to what services you actually need from this attorney.
Right.
So but that's good. But either way, it doesn't matter. Stan's the guy, and he'll continue to do it for.
And we're very fortunate.
For whoever the contract
just talking about how great all of our county commissioners are and how they all work together.
Mm-hmm.
We're very fortunate to have Stan as well. I mean, I'm certainly not territorial. I mean, a lot of people would say, well, he was the manager, you need to walk away. No way. I'm going to use that resource every chance I get.
Well, he's
very fortunate.
At the end of the day, he's a public servant.
Yeah.
And he wants to continue to serve, and he does a great job doing it, and we'd be fools not to tap into that.
Exactly. I don't care where my help comes from. I'm going to get
exactly.
it.
So, it's about getting the job done and not egos and personalities. And by the way, you and Stan are probably very good friends. So anybody that thinks
Stan's an old guy.
Yeah.
Stan and I were both born September 6, 1962.
Nice.
Stan was born about 12 hours before me.
Ooh. We almost got
not only the younger and better looking one, but I nailed it on both.
This is startling reminiscent of like a John Adams, Thomas Jefferson dying on the same day kind of deal.
Let's hope that we don't have to deal with that for a while. But we're born the same day.
Only difference was you guys are friends, where those two weren't so much during that time.
So the other agreement that we approved was a DWI local grant for fiscal year 2026. And while I'm on the DWI thing, we just had the every 15 minutes thing go off again.
Another amazing year of that.
Amazing. Every year it seems like it's more amazing than the previous year. There are a lot of moving parts with the DWI program, and certainly the every 15 minutes and the after-school programs and all those things, but the treatment programs, the stuff that they do in the jails, there are so many moving parts and pieces to that, and it benefits our community so much. But Santa Fe, once again, is always pulling money back. And so, we have this very robust program. DFA came themselves, other counties have come, other states have come to look at the programs that we put on here because they're better than anybody else's. I mean, we've got years and years of practical experience getting those done and showing the good that it does in our community. And they're just a textbook case of how these things should work. However, Santa Fe, is always pulling money back, and they use it in the cabinet level rather than sending it out to the field where it goes. The bureaucracy grows, and you still need to put on a great program, but you don't have the funding to do it. Well, over the last several years, we've lost funding, and we've adjusted and tried to find ways to do it. So when we had our budget meeting last week, I asked the commission, I said, we're down $40,000. And then we found out, I think 2 weeks ago, they also cut this local grant by another $10,000. So we're down $50,000. We're asking everybody to still perform the same duties at the same level, but with less money. And so that's really difficult to do.
Can I ask you a question and this is, I don't know if they're related or not, but I'm just kind of wondering, is also, for folks that don't know right now, is there's about to be a summit later this month where they're trying to decide what to do with the opioid settlement money and where to move in that direction. Is Chaves County DWI in that picture at all? Or
No, we can't. You can use, it's 15% of the monies can be used for mental health stuff. But
I'd make the argument everything that...
Well, 85% of the monies have to be used for opioid treatment.
Okay.
I mean, specifically has to be for opioid. Can't be
DWI
for other...
doesn't mean just alcohol is all I'm saying.
The other thing that we should look at is we've got all these cannabis dispensaries. They don't pay into the DWI. How many times have you been at the line at Sonic or walking down the street and a car goes by and you smell pot? First of all, they're driving impaired.
Yeah.
But they should be paying
Absolutely.
into that the same way that alcohol does.
That's what the I part in the DWI, you're intoxicated. Whether it's alcohol or drugs, it doesn't matter.
They should be helping fund that. But anyway, the county feels that those programs are so important. And I asked the commission, I said, we're doing the budget. Can we find money to make that program whole? Because we're still asking them to complete all the same duties, but we don't have the money to pay them.
Yeah.
And we've adjusted in-house as much as we can to push as much money that way. And
I would make
and
the
they
fight
did
that we need to
approve-
get the DWI as part of the opioid stuff because it does go together. I don't care what people say.
Well, and the other thing that's coming up with the opioid stuff is state legislature once again decided that we need to have the medical assistance treatment, what's called the MAT program in our jails. So by 26, we have to provide medically assisted treatment to people who come to jail. Say, hey, I'm on drugs. Then we have to give them the substitute. I'm an opioid addict.
Well, I mean, that's bad, but...
So if I can't score my dope on the street, I'll just get myself arrested. You guys will go give me a synthetic thing.
Get you on the methadone or whatever they're using.
And we have to have additional medical staff to do that. We have to have additional officers to watch them. They have to have isolated cells. How do you cover all this stuff without any additional funds? But that's one of the horrible things that have come out of Santa Fe. And more than likely, most of the opioid settlement money is going to have to go towards supporting those programs. We've estimated $600,000 additional expense a year when we're full blown into that, based on the population at the jail.
And this is kind of the discussion we have, and certainly they're going to be talking about the opioid summit and all this. And this is that thing where it's yes, we're using a deter. But here's the other thing too is. I would think if they're going to make them they come into jail and we have to give them the methadone or whatever, but shouldn't they also, we're not here handing you pills. Mm-hmm. You got to go through a program. You got to check in. And they're making that all go down too, right?
There are components to it where there's the program and all that stuff. But I'm just saying that.
Well, the big picture is philosophically is jails are not treatment centers. Treatment centers are not jails. Quit treating them the same. And that's the problem.
And then another level of the problems with that is they've made it easier for people to sue our counties to get into the taxpayers' pockets to settle claims in the legislature in Santa Fe. They made it easier to sue in state court for civil rights violations.
Yeah.
And there's the potential. Every person that goes through there is trying to sue us when they get, you mistreated me. You mistreated me. And if you give someone alternate to opioid and they hurt themselves or die, guess what? We're getting sued.
You're responsible.
And it's your taxpayer dollars that are paying for that.
This is where we got to fix the problem. Like, it's a bigger problem. And
there are so many things, initiatives that come out of Santa Fe that that make no sense whatsoever. I mean,
and this is part where it gets back to the opioid stuff,
right?
Is because and this is where we got to have and look, we all agree, people that are problems, they can't be all, they shouldn't be on the streets, they should be, locked up, whatever. But when you're dealing with drug addicts and people that are dealing with mental health issues, a jail is just not the place for those types of folks to deal with that type of stuff. It's just not built for it. It's not designed to be that way. That is designed to incarcerate people that are not that are a problem with the public. That's what
last week was Corrections Officers Week, and in 1984, President Reagan issued a proclamation, and he recognized back then that they've become the de facto mental health people and everything else in jails. Because everybody gets thrown in there,
and that's
whether
the problem.
That's the place they need to be or not.
And that's where we got to fix this. And we can semantically argue about dollars here or there, but at the end of the day, we got to do the philosophy that a treatment center is for people that are dealing with mental health issues. A jail is for people that break the law and are basically a danger to public.
And everyone understands there's some overlap in some cases, but certainly not every case that is not a law-breaking case shouldn't be thrown in the jail, but that's where they are.
And this is where we get the problem, where you get repeat offenders and things. If they're addicts and they're stealing and whatever it is, copper or whatever, if they're whatever it is to feed their addiction, that's the one thing. But I'll tell you right now, instead of taking them to jail every time, let's take them to a mental health treatment facility. I'm going to take a stab if it's done right and everything else. The guy's not going to be out stealing copper wire to feed his meth addiction.
You certainly hope so.
You know what I mean? That's what we're trying to.
But continuing to do the same thing and expect a different outcome is stupid.
And let's face it, corrections officers and things, that they're trained to serve, protect, and do things. They're not trained to be doctors. They're not trained to be,
No,
I mean, they are psychiatrists. But
it's a full-time job.
Yeah.
Just making sure the safety is in place.
Their job
in the
is
meantime,
to keep the peace.
You're doing medical, and that's not your deal. I know we got to cover.
We're running.
We
only got like 2 minutes here, so.
Okay, so we approved the interim budget, $94 million total budget, but of course that includes the carryover for the construction projects, the fire department, apparatus. There's a lot of things rolled in there that are and aren't part of the budget, but $94 million was the total overall budget.
Okay.
The operating budget, I think, came out at 45.
Is that about par for the course?
Yeah,
generally, with cost to run the county each year.
Yeah, a very small increase overall. Our county, we've talked many times about how steady they are at doing
Absolutely,
that.
Yeah.
We did a resolution imposing the non-prohibitive license tax on state liquor licenses. Very minor thing. We also did the annual road hearing application disposition. We had 2 new road requests, so they've got 6 months now to bring them up to county standards. We had 1 road vacation. Pretty much a guy owns both sides of the street, and it's just a little road that goes across his property. It made perfect sense to get rid of that.
Make it his driveway now.
Complained about that. And the county picked up a PERA contribution. The county's a great place to work. There was an additional 0.5% that was up for grabs, and the county says, you know what, we're not going to pass that on to our employees. We're going to pay that.
Highly recommend. Go to the county's website if you're looking for work. See all the job openings there. You can really
and
all come with great benefits and great ways to keep your family, careers
we've
for your
gotten
family.
Pretty competitive with hourly wages or salary wages, but it's the benefits. When you add that, we're well above the norm. And
this is stuff you can raise families.
And you're not having to pay your money out for union dues. I mean, we take care of you without having to have additional.
There's a reason every year at the county commission meetings when they honor, length of service, there's always a couple 20, 30 plus year people that have been working at the county. And that's the true testament. Working for the county, generally, people love it. They stay there, and they are there their whole careers. And that you could do all the commercials in the world, but the proof is that in the pudding. If people are staying and working and doing and they're happy, that there's no other better indicator that that's a good place to work.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's 2 sides of that. Happy to work for the county. Happy to work for the county because of the reimbursement, but also happy to work for the county because of the people that are here. It's
Absolutely.
A great place.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Good deal. Again, that pretty much cover it at least for now?
We zipped through there. We should have taken notes because that's how we should be doing it on a.
And we got philosophical.
Yes, both. What a deal.
But of course, you can always if you go to the Chaves County Facebook, you can always go back and watch the videos there of the commission meetings and things like that. If you have any questions, and of course, don't hesitate. If you got questions, you've got a county commissioner representing you. Don't reach out, shoot an email, and share your info.
And you're going to notice we're going to be working on roads. I mean, it's that time of year where they're going to be out doing chip sealing and those kind of road repairs. Currently, we're assisting the city with trying to get ready for the air races. So we're doing our part to help with that.
Scrambling is about.
So there's been some adjustments to our scheduling of road repairs and stuff, but the time we have to do it this time of year, so that you'll see them out.
Good deal. So be safe when you're driving around and be cautious.
Just watch out.
Awesome. Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Safe travels, and we'll see you here next time, if not sooner.
Thank
All right. Thank you. 8:57. Quick break before news. Don't go away.
In a medical emergency, every second counts. Artesia General Hospital's emergency department is open 24/7, staffed with highly trained professionals ready to provide life-saving care when you need it most. Don't wait. When minutes matter, trust Artesia General Hospital. Quality emergency care close to home. Learn more at artesiageneral.com.
For the first time ever, Gus Macker is coming to Port Tallis, June 21st and 22nd at the ENMU Steve Loy Family Foundation Stadium. This 3-on-3 basketball tournament is open to all skill levels, from 8 and under to an over 35 division, plus a top men's division for more experienced players over the age of 18. Register your team at Macker.com for just $160 per team of up to 4 players. Deadline to sign up is May 30th. More info, contact Jody Diaz at 575-356-8541. Gus Macker, Port Tallis, June 21st and 22nd at the ENMU Steve Loy Family Foundation Stadium. Paid for in part by the City of Port Tallis Lodgers Tax. Are rates and inflation getting you down? Roswell Nissan thinks 0 is a much better number, as in 0.0% on brand new 2025 Nissan Pathfinders, and low rates on brand new Armadas, Rogues, and Altimas. Roswell Nissan is the home of the largest used car supercenter in the state. A massive selection of trucks and SUVs, including a huge selection of certified pre-owned vehicles. And now through May 31st, get no payments for 90 days, and payments as low as $199 a month. Think low, think 0 at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd.
Huzzah! The Lincoln Forest Renaissance Fair returns to Wingfield Park in Ruidoso, May 16th through 18th. Join Oso Productions for 3 days of adventure, featuring armored combat tournaments, over 100 food and craft vendors, children's activities, and live entertainment, including the Young Dubliners on Saturday night. Sponsored by the Village of Ruidoso and Lincoln County Lodgers Tax, Fusion Medical Spa, Jack's Backstage, and Ruidoso Parks and Recreation. Tickets and details at LincolnForestRenFair.com.
Bill Cunningham is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
And we're closing in on 9 o'clock. Town Hall News up next. We're going to replay our interview with Dan Jennings from 100% Chavez County next hour. Don't go away.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. Conservative and moderate Republicans in the House are pushing back against different aspects of the Trump budget package. Moderates are concerned about caps on state and local taxes, while some conservatives want deeper spending cuts. There's not only a disagreement over the content, but also the timetable. Nebraska Congressman Don Bacon believes Republicans are on course to approving the bill.
I think we're at the 95% point. There are some small things we got to fine tune and fix, I think, yet. I think we're close.
But South Carolina's Ralph Norman is worried about state and local tax deductions and thinks his caucus has a long way to go.
My point is we need to have answers before it hits the floor. Is SALT going to be raised from 10 to 30? Is it going to be raised to 100? And how is it going to be paid for? That's my whole issue.
Speaker Mike Johnson wants the House to approve the bill by Memorial Day. It's shaping up to be a commuting nightmare in the greater New York City area today.
New Jersey Transit train engineers have gone on strike in a dispute over wages. This leaves an estimated 350,000 commuters in New Jersey and New York City with a choice. Either reach your destinations by other means or stay home.
Correspondent Andrew Stewart says it's the first transit strike in New Jersey in more than 40 years. Israeli airstrikes bombarded the Gaza Strip for a third night in a row. The death toll has risen to near 100. Russia and Ukraine have agreed to exchange 1,000 prisoners of war each. That's according to the head of Russia's delegation after holding peace talks earlier today with Ukrainian officials. Such an exchange would be their biggest POW swap since the start of the war in 2022. At the meeting, the two sides agreed to provide detailed proposals for a ceasefire. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
The military is working out how they plan to identify and oust transgender service members.
A new order directs U.S. military commanders to identify troops who are transgender or have gender dysphoria, then send them to get medical checks in order to force them out of the service. A new question about gender dysphoria is being added to that medical assessment. That's according to a senior defense official, laying out the new process of Donald Trump's directive to remove transgender service members from the military. Another official says the DoD has scrapped for now plans to go through health records. Instead, those who do not voluntarily come forward could be outed by commanders or others aware of their medical status. Active duty troops are being offered roughly double the amount of separation pay to voluntarily identify themselves, with a deadline of June 6th. I'm Jennifer King.
On Wall Street, stocks are flat. The Dow is up just 37 points, while the NASDAQ is virtually unchanged. News and analysis at townhall.com. Older Americans with decades-old debts could have their Social Security checks garnished.
People with student loans had their payments and interest paused 5 years ago when the pandemic thrust many into financial hardship. But all extensions and grace periods are over, and the federal government will restart the garnishment of paychecks, tax refunds, and Social Security benefits. Student loan debt among older people has grown at a staggering rate. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau says the number of Social Security beneficiaries who have had their payments garnished has ballooned by 3,000% over the past 2 decades. John Scott reporting.
A missing hiker has been found safe after surviving 3 weeks in California's snowy, remote Sierra Mountains. The 27-year-old woman took refuge in a shelter in an unlocked cabin until she was found, hungry and dehydrated, but otherwise in good condition. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3 of Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Friday, everybody.
Ah, yes.
It's Friday. It's sunny.
This is the juiciest fruit of the week.
Yeah. Actually, it's not going to be that windy according to the weather today. Tomorrow and Sunday gets a little breezy, but today, like, I think 5 to 10 for most of the day.
Nice.
It's going to be, like, pushing 90, 89 is what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
overall, not too bad weather-wise here today. So,
and just a few short days away from the unofficial kickstart to the summertime season, which of course is the opening of the pool and the splash pads.
Kids out for the summer and all that, and in the next week. Parents, it's your last days of kids not in
day
school.
drinking.
Enjoy it while you got it.
My son, now I know he picks up information from different sources. He says he heard this from school, and it's true, but I don't like that my son is using information to scare my daughter.
Uh-oh.
So yesterday, particularly hot, the sun was shining, was kind of like beating through the window, and they were like hiding from the beams of sun because Hunter scared Rhiannon by saying, if you stay in the sun too long, you can get skin cancer, or you get a melanoma, and then they have to cut it out. And all of these things terrify my daughter.
Hit to the extremes.
Like, Hunter, stop scaring your sister with facts.
Right. Whereas your daughter,
right,
she hears these things, and it's us as kids in quicksand and vampire.
Exactly.
It's all of that over again.
It's the sun hits cancer, but that's just it. It's like I don't want to dissuade my son from learning knowledge and facts.
Sure.
So it's like, stop utilizing your big brain to mess with your sister.
Sean.
Yeah.
He is your son.
I know, and they're siblings, and I know it's bound to happen.
And they're going to be you, versions of you in some way, shape, or form. But this is your boy's version of you, right?
Buddy, I'm reminded of that daily.
So, yes, but at the same time, embrace it a little bit. Because, your boy could have a fine career on radio someday.
Right.
With skills like this.
I had a whole conversation with my daughter this morning about how she embarrassed herself yesterday because she tried to jump on a stack of chairs because she wanted to be queen of the castle, and she ended up suffering a bit of a fall. She said it was really embarrassing. I said, honey, lean into that.
Yep.
You're my daughter.
It's true.
Laughter will get you far.
Sean did nothing but pratfalls in the mid to late 90s.
That's the only reason I maintained my sanity through like my high school and early college years.
I take that wrong. From like 98 to 2004 there, that was his pratfall year.
Those were the glory days. After that, most of my stunts stayed above the waistline, you know?
He had his own Gerald Ford impression, much like Chevy Chase did at Saturday Night Live. He brought back the Gerald Ford.
That's right. I used to always carry a rack of folding chairs with me, so I had something to fall into.
Yeah, no, but for all real though, that was your Jackass days, where you're literally getting in shopping carts and ramming into light poles and all that kind of stuff.
Somewhere, and I don't know where, but somewhere there exists video of this.
Yeah.
Now,
I remember seeing a few of them. Yeah.
Now, cut to about like 7 months ago.
Yeah.
I meant to get together with some friends. And one of the people at the get together, and I didn't recognize him at first, was this kid I used to roll with named Jay. He goes by a completely different name, I think Puck or some other name that they call him.
Please Puck.
So I think it was Puck. So I didn't recognize him at first. I'm like, dude, we have like hours of video of shopping cart, roulette and firing, bottle rockets at each other, and then we just went our separate ways. And then he's like, weren't you the one? And I'm like, we did the videos. Yeah. We used to roll around in his Cougar.
That's his car.
Oh yeah, the car with the
clarification,
velvet interior, the red velvet interior, and the maroon outside. He used to put like neons on it.
See, back in the day, kids, Ford had the Thunderbird. Mercury had the Cougar.
Had the Cougar. Right. And we found us a Mercury and cruised it up and down the road. Yeah, that thing was a beast too. I love that car.
Oh yeah. My friend had a Cougar back in the 90s. I was the car.
Yeah, right. Just for clarification's sake. Her name's Nadine.
Good times. Hey, we will have high school playoff action for you today as Goddard Rockets will be in action at 12:30 baseball. You will be able to hear that game at ksvptv.com and the Artesia Bulldog channel as they're taking on the 1 seed, the Bulldogs.
Try to ignore the commentary.
Yes, Joby Holland will be calling that game. That way we can bring you the Goddard game, but we can also now bring you the Gateway Christian Championship game, which will take place at 1 o'clock today. They are a 2 seed taking on the 1 seed Magdalena. We will have that game for you at 1 p.m. right here on KEND. So while Goddard baseball is going on, you can catch out at ksvptv.com and the Bulldog channel. At 1 o'clock, we'll bring you up to the Gateway game here on the radio. Also, it'll be in the mornings with Mike Winter's channel, but you'll find audio-only streaming of that game there as well. Then, in MMI Colt baseball, they are a 1 seed in 1A. They've got a semifinal matchup today as they are taking on the 5 seed West Las Vegas. That game will take place. Its first pitch is scheduled at 3:30. More than likely, the Gateway Christian game will still be going on at that time.
Right.
So we're going to join it in progress at the conclusion of the Gateway Christian game. Henry, who will be calling the Gateway game for us, will pack up his stuff and book it on over to the field where the NMMI game is, and we'll bring that to you. So we might miss an inning or two. I also believe Jeff Dunn is going to be joining him. Jeff Gunn. Jeff Gunn. I don't know why I said Jeff Gunn.
Jeff Dunham's bringing out his puppets.
Jeff Gunn will be there.
Jalapeno on a stick is going to be covering the color.
Sorry, I had a 16-hour day yesterday. The refix of it.
100%
Jeff Gunn will be calling that game.
Walter, what's your take on that last inning? I didn't like it.
I used to do this all the time, and now I'm getting old. It does wear on me because I didn't realize I'm messing up by the numbers today. I just keep saying all kinds of wrong things, and I used to be good at doing these all-nighter type deals, and not anymore, man. It's catching up with me.
The wear works itself in, you know?
Yeah. But anyway, we'll have all that for you here today. If NMMI wins this afternoon, they will play for a state championship game at 12:30 tomorrow. If that happens, we will have it right here on 106.5 Roswell Talk FM. If the Artesia-Goddard matchup goes with a Goddard victory here today, then they will play for a state championship game at 3:30 tomorrow. We will carry that for you right here on 106.5 Roswell Talk FM.
Do we know who the other side of the bracket is for the game today for the championship? Like who Goddard or Artesia would be facing tomorrow?
Yes.
No, I don't want you to have to go do extra work.
Yes,
I'm curious if you had it written down.
Yes, I do. Give me a minute. It's like so we're talking.
These brackets they get really
4A baseball
wonky too.
Scroll up here,
especially the 2 out of 3s. They get real hard to read.
NMACT.org. If you want to see them for yourself, that's the website where you'll find all these. So here we go. So Artesia and Goddard will square off at 12:30 today.
Right.
The winner of that game will take on either the 6 seed Bloomfield or the 2 seed St. Pius.
Okay.
That's what we're looking at.
So it could be quite the gauntlet for Goddard if they can take out Artesia and then go up against the 2 seed St. Pius.
Well, they are kind of officially at this point, the Goddard Rocket baseball team are the Cinderella team of the 4A baseball state playoffs. They are a 12 seed. They beat a 5th seed in the round 1. They beat a 13th seed who beat a 4 seed yesterday.
Yes.
And now they are taking Artesia. Now, that being said, these are two teams that are very familiar with each other. Artesia has the winning record of the two this season.
Yeah, by a bit.
That being said, it's two opponents that know each other. Throw all that out the window. This is Cowboys, Redskins. You know, one team is the Super Bowl champs, the other is one in something else, and guess what? The one in something
are we
beats
talking
the
about
other.
Football or like Cowboys and Indians from back in the day?
No, football. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's very much that where it's these two teams know each other very well, so you could throw the 1s and the 12s out the window. It really, it matters, but that's not always the deciding factor on this one. So it's going to be a great game, but like I said, we'll have it for you, ksvptv.com. Joby will call on that game. I apologize. We can't give you a Goddard perspective, but enabled for us to allow you to have coverage of that game and of the Gateway Christian Championship game. This is the way we can get it. And unfortunately, we're in state playoffs. We don't have video rights access, so whatever we got, it's audio and it's on a thing. And we only got a finite number of places to put audio.
And here's what you do. If you're not happy about having to listen to Joby call the Goddard game, get in those comments, go Big Blue. Just flood the comments with Go Big Blue.
Show them Bulldogs fans. There's a lot of Goddard fans watching that broadcast.
That's right.
Listen to that broadcast.
We're here too. Go Big Blue.
Yeah, absolutely. So show your love there. Be positive.
Yeah, of course. I'm not saying be trolls,
but be pro Goddard on that thing.
Be proud to be a Goddard.
Show them there's a wave of blue that's
washing into the sea of orange.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but we'll have that for you. 12:30 for Goddard Artesia matchup, 1 p.m. for the Gateway Christian Magdalena matchup, and 3:30 right at the conclusion of the Gateway Christian game, NMMI and West Las Vegas.
Yes, sir.
So that's what we're looking at.
Should be good.
It is 9:16. Allow us to present you what I like to call the weather.
Ooh, did you come up with that term?
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Hot and windy this weekend, sunshine, and we're going up to about 90 today, a little bit breezy. Overnight, some clouds, upper 50s, and then we have a low pressure system passing to our north on Saturday. Mix of sun and clouds, no rain expected. We'll stay at about 90, wind gusting at about 35 miles an hour. More gusty wind coming up on Sunday, sunshine and 90. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Stephen. Currently 69 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 21% with winds out of the east at 5 miles per hour. Today, sunny, warm, not so windy. All good stuff. Sunny and 89 for today. Winds are going to be out of the southeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy. Overnight low of 59. Southeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour, shifting or increasing 5 to 15. I'm sorry. Let me do this. 5 to 10 out of there. Saturday, that's where I started. Again, I'm tired. I'm sorry. Saturday, I messed that up. Mostly cloudy on Saturday, early, gradually becoming sunny. Highs expect to hit 90 tomorrow. Winds will be breezy out of the southwest early, 5 to 15. As the day progresses, those winds will increase 15 to 25 miles per hour. Saturday night, partly cloudy. Looks like an overnight low of 55. Winds will remain breezy. Southwest winds 15 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. They'll tap down 5 to 15 after midnight. Sunday, another breezy day. Warm as well, 91 under mostly sunny skies. Southwest winds 5 to 15 early, 15 to 25, gusting as high as 35 by Sunday afternoon. Sunday night, mostly clear, 56 for an overnight low. Winds will be breezy, and Monday will be breezy and sunny with a high of 87. And looks like mid-80s Tuesday, back to upper 80s, low 90s by Thursday of next week. All right, 8:18, we're going to take a 3.5-minute break, and then we're going to play our interview we had yesterday with Dan Jennings talking about the opioid settlement symposium that they're going to be having May 27th. I would love to get the community out there to hear. It's really is it's kind of a workshop event talking about with this money settlements, and Dan does a great explanation during the interview about how much money's coming, where it's coming, how it's working. So we're going to play that interview for you. But the rub is the event's on the 28th, but you got to sign up by tomorrow, by the 17th, to get registered. Good news is it's free, doesn't cost anything, but you do need to do advanced registration so they have enough seats and everything for everybody. But anyway, we're going to play that interview here in just a bit. But first, quick commercial break.
At Martine's Capital Cafe, come in and enjoy a delicious variety for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Try our burritos, huevos rancheros, asado, chorizo, sausage, flantas, fajitas, chili rellenos, quesadillas, enchiladas, sopapillas, and don't forget their award-winning green chili cheeseburger and so much more. Everything is prepared with the finest and freshest ingredients. Martine's Capital Cafe. Quality, value, tradition, and the most delicious New Mexican food since 1989. Open Monday through Saturday from 6 to 8:30 p.m. at 110 West 4th Street in Roswell.
Sure, you can inspect your own roof, get out that rickety ladder, crawl around up there and try to spot the problem until... Or you could call the experts at Do Right Roofing. Do Right Roofing has quality products for any type of roof. They can even install seamless gutters. Do Right Roofing will inspect your roof and give you a free estimate fast. Keep your feet on the ground. Call Do Right Roofing today.
575-623-2273. That Do Right. Do your roof right.
Find them fast in names and numbers. The ultimate Wi-Fi experience is now available to you thanks to Smart Home Wi-Fi with Plateau. Get fiber-to-home technology 100 times faster than average household internet speed. Plateau has multiple plans and options to fit your family. With Fast, get true 100 megs per second download and upload speed. With Faster, get true 500 megs of download and upload speeds. And with Fastest, you get 1 gig. Learn more at plateautel.com. Get the speed you need with Plateau. Tried, true, trusted.
Hi, Chef Anthony Noble here with the Valley Cafe at 801 West Brasher. We love serving you our delicious meals for lunch and dinner. The next time you're in on Monday or Tuesday, bring the family and take advantage of our kids' dinner special. With the purchase of an adult meal, you get a kids' meal for 20% off. That's right. Get the kids fed, save a little money, enjoy what I got cooking in the kitchen. Come visit us at 801 West Brasher in the Orange Building across from Church on the Move in Roswell. We have it all. Come taste and see.
Don't forget, you can also find the Valley Cafe on our website at toasttab.com. patreon.com/Valley Cafe. Also on DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats.
Picture this. You're behind the wheel of a John Deere compact tractor. You're effortlessly breaking ground, moving piles of rocks just by moving a lever, and enjoying the sun as you clear brush across your pasture. We could keep trying to put you in the moment, but to really understand what this feels like, you just have to get in the seat.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia and Roswell, or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
Do you know what the hardest part of dealing with the roofer is? Just trying to get them on the phone. Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing, and I want you to know that you can always trust Trustmark Roofing to answer our phone. Need a free roof inspection? Just call us at 575-755-ROOF, and we'll answer with a live person, a real human being. Have a roofing project already going with us and need to discuss it? Just call 575-755-ROOF, and we will answer the phone. No answering machine, no voicemails, and no weird robot automated attendant. That's because at Trustmark Roofing, we're all about relationships and treating people right. That's true for customers and vendors and insurance companies and employees. Anyone and everyone who comes in contact with our company. So if you have any roofing needs at all, trust Trustmark to treat you right and to answer the phone. Our number again is 575-755-ROOF, or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. U-Haul is the world's largest advertiser in the Yellow Pages. Too bad millennials don't know what the Yellow Pages are. Here's Mike Winters.
And joining us and good morning. It is 23 minutes after 8 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning from 100% Chavez County, Dan Jennings back with us. Good morning, Dan.
I appreciate you having me, Mike.
Glad to see you again. It's been a minute since we've seen you, so but a lot's been going on since that minute we've seen you too.
Absolutely, always the next thing. So.
Yeah. So what we really want to put on people's radar right now is folks have heard, over the last few years, the big settlements in the courts with drug companies, medicine, doctors, so forth, overprescribing and the opioids and this kind of stuff, and because of it, they created a lawsuit, and it formed lots of money that's being used all across the country, and of course we here in New Mexico got our little slice of that pie here, and so now we got to figure out, all right, we got this influx of cash. Exactly. What are we going to do with it? And that's kind of where we're at here with the summit that you got that's coming up here later this month.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
New Mexico's part of that settlement gets us to almost about $1 billion. That's what the Attorney General and their team settled with it.
That's a pretty good little slice.
It's a huge slice.
Yeah.
And after court costs and everything, the way that it works is that the state gets about 45% of those funds, and municipalities get 55%.
Okay.
So here in Roswell, Chavez County, they've agreed to pool that money together because Roswell was a large enough municipality to actually receive a portion of it. So we get 2.5% of that pool for municipalities.
Okay.
So to put in perspective, we have right now, funds came down from some of those settlements already, and sitting at between $2.5 and $4 million that are dedicated, earmarked, not part of general op. They're segregated funds for that. But over the next several years, up until 2039 is when the last of the settlement funds come in.
Okay.
That can be about $8 million plus that will be dedicated here for Roswell Travis County.
Excellent. So our end game here is we could be looking at influx of $8 million.
Exactly.
Now, is there any timetables or any strings that come with like obligations we have to do with the said $8 million, or is there stages we have to do things by? What's the strings?
So that's every state was a little bit different, and here in New Mexico they're kind of working on the process to make that happen. But really, what the settlement came down to, and so there's no specific timeline to say you must spend it by this time or reverse. This is money that is dedicated for this. And New Mexico, at the state legislature, they created a trust fund that a lot of that money goes into, that gets invested specifically so that way they can continue growing those monies.
Gotcha.
And the same thing can happen here in the county, that those monies can be put into secure investment accounts so it can continue to grow over time as well. So that is number one. It's not time bound.
Gotcha.
But number two is, you're right, the string is that these funds have to be spent on very specific things that are outlined in the settlement plan for specifically targeting opioid use, misuse and treatment, prevention, and all the other co-occurring things, and mental health disorders, and anything that would go along with that.
Well, that's the one string I'd want on it.
Absolutely. Yeah, because we knew that before in the past, a lot of the settlement funds were spent on billboards that didn't even go to what we were trying to target. So.
And that's what would have made me nervous. It's like if they didn't put that stipulation on it, you know it will be taken advantage of, and it'll get skirted into this thing, and next thing you know, there's
we've seen that in other states, and the thing that is happening, there's a lot of watchdogs out there are looking to make sure that the funds are spent properly.
Excellent.
And so that's what the plan was developed for. So Travis County decided to do a contract with us to create a plan. So over the last year, we've been working with creating surveys and focus groups and trying to find out from individuals in the county that these are targeted specific areas that we do not have.
Sure.
These are things that the fund could be used to pay for, and these are things that are very critical to get moving. And so through that process, we were able to identify out of 110 different strategies that are effective and useful inside of these funding, 13 that we really wanted to push forward that were specific for this area.
It seems like, hey, we can get the most juice off this squeeze by doing that.
Right.
And really, this is, again, coming up here later this month, May 28th, is the summit for the, it's a big opioid settlement solutions plan summit.
That's it. I know, it's a big mouthful.
I have to look at it to get it all out.
You got it. That was perfect.
But really, it's going to be a day of, you're going to have some interesting and probably people, local panel speakers that'll be discussing, sharing their stories, sharing their experiences, experts in the industry, in the field that can kind of, tell us about the places that are really the greatest needs and the greatest. And this is basically, like I said, we're going to, just to give a nice neat number to tell everybody right now, 8 million potentially and really this is we the people decide with it. It's kind of okay. We all see, and the uniqueness of it is because I'm going to take a stab that in different counties in this state, different states, they're having similar type deals saying, how can we best invest this money that'll get the most bang for our buck in our community? And that answer is not the same in every community.
Oh, that's exactly right.
We are in a rural community, which means our needs are probably a little bit greater in some areas versus an inner city place that maybe has these types of services down the street.
Right.
And that's where we got to figure that out. And that's what the summit's about.
That's exactly right. That's, again, the whole mission for 100% New Mexico is that everything needs to be a county-by-county plan. It can't be a top-down approach because one size will not fit all.
Absolutely.
And we have definite specific needs in Travis County. But the awesome thing about it, too, is we have great resources. So the idea is that how do we align those resources that we currently have that could actually really make big impacts, but may not have the capacity to do so because of funding, of staffing. And so here is a pool of money that exists to help provide an infusion into this to really get things moving and going. But the summit is also a way, as you said, is to bring people that are doing these kinds of work. So it's a solution summit. It's not, well, we have these problems. This is literally like, here's the recommendations, but here are groups that are doing it right now. So Carlsbad Lifehouse is a great partner that's coming in to present several strategies. The Alamogordo Community Response Team's coming in to present how they're being able to do boots on the ground to help get people who necessarily low acuity problems that are not getting connected with law enforcement, but are instead getting connected up with community EMS, which we have here in Travis County. We have Pecos Valley Public Services could do this. So these are strategies to say, we have the resources here. Here are people literally down the road who are doing that. How can we partner? How can we work together and get that same kind of strategy?
And not to mention, like you said, if we don't want to reinvent the wheel if the wheel's working really well in certain things. So if they're doing it right, let's
support and amplify that.
Let's support that, and let's what can we learn from them and implement right here, or like you said, maybe this service is covered. We don't need to. We don't need to throw more money at something that's already good. And so that's what this summit really is about, and seeing what that is. And this is the thing that, when we talk about drug overdose and drug use and these dependency issues and it's not even alcohol, any of these, things we're seeing here. I am one of those people that says if you can get people off alcohol, get them off drugs and everything, but but it's a mental health issue. The reason they're probably addicted to the drugs is there are things going on in their life that they're having mental issues overcoming. And to be honest, the alcohol, the drugs are a symptom of a bigger problem.
That's absolutely right, because you're right on target. I know that whenever we talk about some of these things, people already have a stereotypical kind of image in their mind of this person that is abusing, any kind of prescribed or non-prescribed drug. And these are individuals a lot of times who have been prescribed something legally, and then it just gets away from them. Or this is something where somebody in the family might have been prescribed, yet somebody else in the family might be lifting those. I mean, this is situations in which the complexity is not such a simple stereotype where we can say, oh, it's that junkie mentality.
Yeah.
So the other thing, too, is we really want to start to break down that stigma where people are not thinking that. They're actually thinking this on, as you said, a level of which this is a societal issue, and we as a society want to make sure our families are very well secure and thriving, and this is a community in which we want to see that happen. And we do that together by making sure we're all well and healthy.
Absolutely.
And that starts at prevention, but also linkages to services when you need that. And then therapies, if that is necessary. But therapy is something that doesn't end.
Sure.
Therapy then moves into the linkages. So the idea is this is a never-ending cycle, which it shouldn't. Well-being and health is the same way as being able to go to your regular physician and just take care of your preventative maintenance.
Absolutely.
Same thing on the mental health side. So you're right.
Absolutely. And this is where, and I know we're talking philosophical here, but this is really what this is what the summit's about too, is to bring the philosophical to the practical.
Right.
And it's kind of where, where we I think we in humanity are just, when it comes to human health, we are pretty advanced in, healing bones and replacing legs and hips and various other parts of the body.
Yep.
We are in the Stone Ages when it comes to mental health.
Right.
And it's a lot of it's because of the way we've handled it in past human history. And to be honest, it's not nefarious. It's just we didn't know better. You know what I mean? And so we've got to be careful, because you know what? There's probably some things, I'm not talking about lobotomies, but I'm saying there's things that, that we did that back then that may have been a good start to something that we just botched on the way. And so I think we really need as societies look back and say, okay, we need mental health facilities, but we don't want asylums. Right. We need a place where there's people that are having trouble fitting in society because of their mental health issues, a place they can get treatment, not storage, not prison, not shoving them from society, a place where they can actually work on these things. Will they get out of there? That's the goal. But if they can't, they're in a place where they're safe and they're being treated and they're in a good environment.
You're exactly right. It's a continuum that we need to have points of access along the way where anybody could say, this is the help that I need, and not be worried about, like, am I going to, as you said, be committed? Because that is the scare. The thing that we look at is there's very low touch ways for people to get access to treatment and care, and they exist right now, and they are free. I know we always talk about, like, there's just not enough care providers for everybody, and that is true. We need to help grow our workforce. We need to help triage with this.
Absolutely.
But we have tools that exist, but if people don't know about them or they don't know how to access them, then we're already at the problem that could be solved. And now we have, as you said, this continuum of care that would go all the way through the low touch, all the way to a more inpatient setting, and maybe long-term care, but done in such a way that results in productive results at the end.
Yeah, exactly. The idea is to fix them, to help them, to cure if possible, but at least make life better for them.
Right.
That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, we don't think, as you said, you don't think anything about that when it comes to physical health.
Yeah.
We understand that we have rehabilitation for physical health. And if you have a broken leg, you're not going to, I can take care of it myself. But this is what we do with our mental health. And we need to make it, again, lessen that stigma, make it so that people feel comfortable and have points of access in which when somebody says, I need help, they're not told, well, hope you can come back in 6 months or whatever. It's like, no problem. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
That's the only answer. Let's take care of this.
We want to do more than hug on them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yes, we do that because we're compassionate, have empathy, want to help them. But when you want but don't have the tools, the resources, or the knowledge, then all you can do is offer a hug. And we're like, let's stop offering hugs and let's start offering
starting the
expertise.
solutions.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's where we got to get to. And it's because it's such a people have feelings on mental health and across the gamut, good, bad, to downright ugly.
Right.
And that's the part where it makes it difficult for everybody to talk about this, which means this is where we as humans need to adult up and be serious about this stuff. And this summit is exactly the types of things we need to do. So we want to encourage the public to make plans to be there on the 28th. But if you want to be a part of this as a presenter or any facet,
we've got
you still got a few days to get in on the fun.
Yeah, the nice thing is that the tickets are free, and we had the tickets. We sell 100 of them. We had 100 reserved, and we blew through that number, so we moved it up to 150. So we still have a few free tickets available for anybody that wants to come.
But you got to get them pretty quick.
But you got to, because this, today's Thursday, so Thursday and Friday are the last 2 days to get in the registration.
Yeah.
So the nice thing is we have 15 different breakouts. We have Nick Bucas from the New Mexico Healthcare Authority, Behavioral Health. He'll be our keynote. Maria Vasquez is going to be our special lunch speaker.
Yeah.
So it is a full day.
Used to sell ads for us.
Absolutely.
Back there.
It's fantastic. She's agreed to come and reveal her. It's a wonderful story that she has, and we wanted people to really learn more about how this is and put real faces to this.
I don't want to get too deep in her story, but I'll tell you this. She's a success story that we're hoping everybody gets. But to be honest, she's because of the tools, the resources where we're at, she kind of... That just shows her will and character as much more than anything else. You know,
it's drive, determination.
Yes,
but you can come out on the other side, and she's a shining success of that. So we want everybody to hear this story.
Absolutely, but the end game is you don't have to work as hard as she did to get there. That's what we're trying to fix.
Right. That's the point. It's like hear the story, but how can we make this a point?
So please. Is the best resource to go to the 100% Chaves County website?
Right.
And
100chavescounty.com. And right there you'll see the Opioid Solution Summit link. And so you can just click on there and go through the registration process.
Absolutely.
And take the last few tickets we have. I think that the last I looked this morning, we had about 15 tickets remaining. So I
would love for people to be like, can I get in? Can you just let me in? I'll get over here real quick. Give me a little sample. But anyway, and then, of course, if you're a Facebook user, 100% Chaves County has a Facebook page. I highly encourage you to like and follow it. But you'll also find that same link. You click on it, it'll take you right to the website. You can register, get your tickets. You can also see a whole thing of what, like the layout of the schedule, who's going to be doing what, when, and where, and all that. So you can kind of plot and plan accordingly. But get that done here before the 17th. So you got about a day or two here.
Yep, about 2 days.
Let's say 15th. They're all the same day to me now.
Today will be 3 days for you, it sounds like. So I understand.
Yes, I get that. And really, I would love to see, and I would love, families that maybe have gone through this, please come. Maybe there's folks that are dealing with some issues right now. Please come. Or
this is open for everybody.
If you're healthcare side of things or nonprofit or religious and wanting to see where where maybe your little slice of the pie can get more involved in helping out here, please come and sign up for this summit. Come hear it. This is how we fix these things. And by the way, this is the start. This is not, we ain't having this meeting like, all right, good luck to you. See you tomorrow.
Done. We solved the problem.
See you in 10. No, this is the beginning of a process. Kind of just like we were talking with the folks from the city about the master plan here. This week with all that this is the beginning of formulating what this is going to like. The same thing here. This is, like you said, over the course of, like, when's the actual, you said earlier, but I forgot. When's the actual, like when the money is supposed to be at its full fruition of it coming to this account? When's that supposed to dry up?
So the nice thing about the way that the funds came is most of the settlements were kind of front loaded.
Yeah.
So most of those funds have been deposited.
Okay, so the heavy snips in now.
Right. However, the other settlements were put over a 15-year period of time. And so that's why money will continue to come in to get to that. By the end of the 2039 year, that's when all of the settlements should be completed.
It'll be Verdunsky and money's gone where it goes. Unless...
That's why if you steward it correctly,
you'll be unless you maybe, invest in things,
That's exactly what we were going
you still got to, you still have
and leverage some of the state funds, because when the
well,
state has that much money, we can make sure we don't have to spend our local money. We can rely on the grants that the state has for that.
Spoiler alert, in case you didn't know this, when you spend all that money for your insurance, guess what your insurance companies are doing? They're investing that money too to make more of it. They're taking your money and making more money in the stock markets and everything else. That's what we can do with this. And of course, we'll have to, reach out to our people that actually know how to do those things, so we don't. Because you leave it to us, we'll be like, throw it all in Apple, Walmart, yeah, go, buy, sell. No, we don't want us doing it.
Yeah, these are not so exciting investments.
We want people who are more qualified to do it. I got me one of them Robin Hood accounts. Let's do this.
Yeah. These funds are in the most boring investment you can imagine. So money market funds.
Yeah, these are like the stuff you're supposed to do for your retirement.
Exactly. That's exactly right. That don't lose the funds.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, and so and I got to say, if that's not on the table, or at least some part of that, then we're not doing it right, because if we, like you said, if we do it right, we can use this to get the big push to establish the foundation.
That's right.
At the same time, using this same money to grow and produce more to continue
beyond 2039.
Yeah,
that's exactly correct.
As advances in mental health come to the forefront, and these facilities need to change and alter and to meet those needs, this money will be there to help do that.
We put in the idea of good evaluation as well, because it's not just, hey, have we spent the money, but it's like, what has been the result of that? Have we changed? Where we moved numbers? Have we helped? Because we want to get down to 0 overdose deaths in Chaves County.
Absolutely.
That is the goal. There's no reason that we can't accomplish that if we really make sure that the resources are dedicated to where they need to be.
And this is going to be a big thing, because it's a partnership and all hands on deck here, because obviously every person that deals with mental health, from law enforcement side to the hospitals to groups and organizations that deal specifically, they're all going to be on board and on page to be a part of the solution here. And so, like, I can see what comes of this is as we use this money, and I'm hoping a lot of this goes into the research side of the mental health, and to come up with the programs and the widgets and the whatever, if it's the thing from Star Trek you wave over and everything, whatever that is they invent, I want money going towards that too. But as those things come out, that's going to, I'm going to take a stab. We're going to learn some things, and how law enforcement deals with this is going to be night and day different, say 5-10 years from now than it is today or in the past. Certainly.
Exactly.
This is also that lesson learned. This is the chance to try to get it right.
That's exactly
right. Try to get it right. And yes, we can all acknowledge this. Mistakes were made in various places here and there and whatever. Don't care about that. What can we do now to rectify all of that? What can we do to get this right? What can we do to set the table to allow growth and allow it to mature at the same time servicing people right now? That's what we're trying to figure out.
That's what this is all about. So we've got a good plan to work forward with that, and of course that plan should be changing, as you said, as things come by. The state has been doing a great job of investing in programming that is now going to lead us into that kind of next wave.
Good.
And a lot of these research facilities that you're talking about at the universities, most of these things are attached at that level. So if counties and regions want to work on some of those state funds, they have to also work with a higher education institution to ensure that things are evaluated, that research is being done there. So you're exactly right. That's the strategy.
This is starting a ripple that's going to create a tsunami wave throughout the whole industry of everything mental health related. And and we want it to be a good ripple, to create it in the right way,
I would love to see Chaves County, New Mexico be one of the places where people say, well, what is going on? They've got it going right. And that's, instead of hearing all the negative, we want this to be something where we can see
the spotlight's on us. And
absolutely.
When it comes to rural mental health care, we're writing the book on it.
Exactly.
That's what we want to be. So please, May 28th, it's all day 8 to 5 there. It's going to be at Eastern New Mexico University in the Instructional Tech Center. Just follow all the cars at EDM if you're not which building. You'll see which one it is. Yeah, and there'll be signs to guide you there. But please go to 100% Chaves County's website or Facebook page to register. It doesn't cost you a thing, but you do need to pre-register. Deadline to pre-register is May 17th, which is here in a couple days. And then free up your dance card for May 28th from 8 to 5 and come out and hear some great guest speakers, get some great offer input, offer your own experience as well. This is as much as it's a forum, it's a seminar, it's a bit brainstorming too, and we the people, this is your chance to be involved, to see, and I'm telling you right now, if we don't do this and we don't do it correctly, if you're mad about the world right now, it's going to get tenfold worse if we don't address these issues.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you, Dan. Anything, and then of course we'll get you in here maybe right around there just to see what kind of turnouts, what kind of results, what kind of what are some of the light bulbs that come out of this summit here.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Would love that.
That's what we need. Light bulbs. We need lots of light bulbs. We get to excel and work up a marketing deal here. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate
it, Mike. Thank you.
All right, it is 8.
Now for a Pecos Valley news update, I'm Jared Sorello. 2 Republicans in Congress, one from West Texas, are arguing that an imperiled lizard is threatening the U.S. oil and gas industry. A new bill called the Limiting Incredulous Zealots Against Restricting Drilling, or Lizard Act. It was introduced by Congressman August Pfluger, whose district includes a large swatch of the Permian Basin oil field around Midland, Odessa. Kansas Congressman Tracy Mann is also co-sponsoring the bill, which would undo federal endangered species status for the Dunes sagebrush lizard. Artesia voters are deciding whether or not to fund up to $7 million in operations at Artesia General Hospital over the next 4 years. It's a mail ballot election that's going on. Voting continues over the next several weeks. The special mill levy has been on the rolls since 1979. It's been renewed by voters every 4 years. Voters must get their mail ballots returned by June 3rd in order to count. The funding is about $2.70 annually for each $1,000 in assessed property value. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Your morning cup of Sean. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
The president could not be any more clear that the Iranians are not getting nuclear weapons. No way, no shape, no matter, no form. It just isn't happening. He said if Iran's leadership rejects the olive branch and continues to attack their neighbors, then we will have no choice but to inflict massive, maximum pressure. And he's been clear they will not ever get a nuclear weapon. Now, on the other hand, he's holding out the olive branch, and that he said he would much rather make a deal with Iran and see Tehran prosper. The people of Iran have suffered greatly because the monies that they have taken in, they have used that money to foment terror in the region. They're the number one state sponsor of terror.
The conservative underground meets later today on the Sean Hannity Show.
We've got trade wars, inflation, skyrocketing national debt, and a potential recession looming. It's no wonder gold keeps hitting record highs. With everything going on in the world, thousands of hard-working Americans are looking to diversify their savings with precious metals like gold and silver. And they're turning to the top-rated gold company, Gold Co. With over 6,000 five-star customer reviews, an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, and the industry's highest buyback guarantee, Gold Co. is the preferred precious metals company of thousands of Americans. Right now, Gold Co. is offering you a free 2025 gold and silver kit. Plus, you could get unlimited bonus silver if you qualify. Find out how you can help diversify your savings, tax and penalty free today. Visit HannityGold.com or call 855-815-GOLD. That's HannityGold.com or call 855-815-GOLD.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. Big day in Albuquerque yesterday for baseball and softball playoffs. The Goddard Rockets still alive in Class 4A baseball after defeating Chaparral by a score of 12-2. Goddard takes on a familiar foe this afternoon, 12:30, Artesia in a state semifinal. NMMI moves on with a victory in Class 3A over a 9th-seeded Sandia Prep. The Colts are the top seed. They beat the Sun Devils 9-0. They'll take on West Las Vegas this afternoon at 3:30. Gateway Christian mauls Charles Logan 12-2 in 1A. Samuel Wade with 3 doubles. They'll take on number 1 Magdalena in the championship this afternoon at 1 o'clock. In softball, Dexter loses to Cobre 2-1 but bounces back to beat West Las Vegas 10-3. They'll take on Cobre again today at 12. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Hot and windy this weekend, sunshine, and we're going up to about 90 today, a little bit breezy. Overnight, some clouds, upper 50s, and then we have a low pressure system passing to our north on Saturday. Mix of sun and clouds, no rain expected. We'll stay at about 90, wind gusting at about 35 miles an hour. More gusty wind coming up on Sunday, sunshine and 90. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Greg Clugston. A big cable TV merger is in the works. Charter Communications, known more widely as Spectrum, is merging with Cox Communications in a deal worth more than $34 billion. The move comes as the cable industry faces stiff competition from streaming services. Inflation remains a major concern even after 2 sets of government data this week showed prices came down further last month. Economists are waiting to see the impact of current tariffs make their way through supply chains. Retail sales were up just a whisker in April after consumer spending surged in March. 2 months ago, sales were up 1.7% as Americans rushed to buy cars and other goods before tariffs kicked in. Last month, sales at retail stores and restaurants rose just 0.1%. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Greg Clugston.
After Moses was given the 10 Commandments, he came down and shared the words of the Lord with the people. The Lord had chosen the Israelites out of all the creation on earth to be his people, his treasured possession. Preaching to the Christians of the first century, Peter carries this thought into the time after Christ, saying this: "You are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession. Once you were not a people, but now you are the people of God." He calls and has chosen all to be his people. He's just waiting for us to accept his call. No matter where you find yourself, no matter your past, you are chosen to belong to God. As Paul told the Romans, "I'm convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all of creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord." So join us as we learn how to accept his loving call.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
The summer of fun is on at Roswell Honda. Now through the end of the month, get scorching savings across the lot on a great selection of vehicles, like a new 2026 Honda Passport as low as 3.99% for 36 months, or a 25 Honda Civic Sedan Hybrid, just 4.99% for 48 months, or lease a 2025 Honda Ridgeline all-wheel drive, just $409 a month for 36 months. Roswell Honda has the deals to take your summer adventure to a whole new level. The summer of fun begins at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Check out some of the Markdown Madness specials you'll find this week at your local Farmers Country Market. 30-count variety packs of Capri Sun are $7.98 each, and boxes of Kraft Original Mac and Cheese are 5 for $5. In produce, Farm Fresh Super Select cucumbers are 3 for $1, and 5-count bags of Haas avocados are $2.99 each. In the meat department, family packs of boneless beef top sirloin steaks are $6.99 a pound, and family packs of bone-in sirloin cut pork chops are $1.49 a pound. These are just some of the Markdown Madness bargains you'll find this week at your local Farmers Country Market.
Picture this. You're behind the wheel of a John Deere compact tractor. You're effortlessly breaking ground, moving piles of rocks just by moving a lever, and enjoying the sun as you clear brush across your pasture. We could keep trying to put you in the moment, but to really understand what this feels like, you just have to get in the seat.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia and Roswell, or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin & Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin & Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Moppet and Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
If you're a service member, veteran, or family member who's feeling alone,
whether you're in crisis or not,
don't remain silent and suffer alone.
There is help out there.
Talk to someone you can trust.
Free confidential support is available 24/7 through the Veterans Crisis Line. Just text or call 988 and press 1 for veterans. Talking to someone about suicide won't increase the risk of suicide. It could save a life.
Sponsored by the New Mexico Department of Veterans Services, the Department of Health, the NMBA, and this station.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Turtles can breathe through their butts. We imagine you know some people who do that too, because that's where their heads reside. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is closing in on 9:57. We're about ready to get kicked off the radio. But don't forget, tomorrow, Keep Roswell Beautiful is having their great American cleanup event. It's going to be Saturday morning at the Roswell Municipal Landfill, 3006 West Brasher Road. If you're not familiar with this event, they do it every year, and you get your group together. Come on out to the municipal landfill. They'll start registration at 8. The cleanup will go from 9 to noon, but you come, bring your group. There you can pick up gloves, vests, trash grabbers, trash bags, all the stuff you need to go clean up an area, and then you take your group and go clean up your area. And they do this, and they want you to collect your hours and the bags of trash. They collect the stats for the program. But so tomorrow's the big day. If you have your group and you want to find an area to clean up or have an area to clean up around your neighborhoods, please, beginning at 8 a.m., you can come by the municipal landfill, pick up your gloves, vests, and I'll get your group registered, and then go out and do your trash cleanup. Now, if you have a youth group of 10 or more, call Keep Roswell Beautiful today and see if you can get on the opportunity to have your youth group clean up out there tomorrow, or do a cleanup, and get your youth group paid $400 for doing so, thanks to the Empowering Youth fundraising program. There's only a few slots of this available. I'm not even sure. We're 24 hours out, so I'm not sure if they are still, but it can't hurt to ask. So get a hold of TJ Conyers over at the Keep Roswell Beautiful. You can reach TJ at 575-637-6274. Again, 575-637-6274. Or you can email TJ, t.conyers, CONYERS, at roswell-nm.gov. Again, that's t.conyers at roswell-nm.gov. And who knows, maybe your youth group could get $400. A group of 10 or more, and it's youth groups. The adults, we're doing it for the goodness of our city. But with our youth groups, you can do it for the goodness of our city and raise a little money for your sports team or religious group or service organization, whatever that is. Nice way to do that. All right, before we go, don't forget we do have more playoff baseball action for you today. Goddard Rocket fans, your 12:30 matchup against the 1-seed Artesia. You'll be able to hear that at ksvptv.com. It's going to be in the Artesia Bulldog channel. We're doing it this way so we can bring you the Gateway Christian Championship game. That's going to take place at 1 o'clock today. Henry was going to have the call of that game. Then NMMI semifinal matchup against West Las Vegas. First pitch is at 3:30. We will go to that game right at the conclusion of the Gateway Christian matchup because they'll overlap a bit here. But we'll have them both for you later today. That's going to do it for us. Have an amazing weekend. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. The first direct peace talks between Russia and Ukraine since the early weeks of Moscow's 2022 invasion ended after less than 2 hours. In remarks at a leaders' summit, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says the negotiators Vladimir Putin sent to Turkey were too low level to make any decision.
If it turns out that the Russian delegation really